at the big desk.
See you guys. Hey guys, yeah, 10 minutes ago, we'll get no change. Let's be honest, not going to do anything as far as the interest rate is concerned in this Fed decision. But very, very important what then follows coming up at 2:30 with these comments from Fed Chair Powell. How far is he going to go in the direction of, is it going to be September? Is it going to be November? Is it going to be at all this year? We'll get a lot of questioning along those lines. But let's get you caught up on a few things here. It's been a very green day coming off that number this morning. If you missed it, CPI to the downside. Say what? Huge move to 542 here for the SPY on that. We're still up over a full percent on the day for the SPY. I mean, you can pull up the Qs here as well. Absolutely the same look here for the Qs, chopping around the 475 area. But yeah, Fed not going to do anything as far as interest rates are concerned today, but it's going to come down to how many questions. I think what I'm going to look forward to is how many questions is he going to get on what's going to come in October, what's going to come down the road in November. You know, there's going to be a lot of questioning on the employment numbers that came out back on Friday, and also on what happened this morning with CPI. So what will happen coming up at 2 o'clock? We'll get the release, we'll get the statement along with that. So the Fed statement is always closely monitored and watched by the overall market. If any language within that statement changes one way or the other, sometimes they remove words and put different words in. Sometimes they add a sentence or take away a sentence. So we'll go through all of that with you. For now, guys, let's get a little bit of a rundown here or catch up on what's been happening as far as the midday and what we're looking at going into 2 o'clock.
Yeah, what's been happening is the market is up. Maybe they'll throw in there, like Powell just slide in, oh man, it's a good thing I bought all those calls on Apple or NVIDIA. No, he won't, but I'll never, look, at the end of the day, the market is super strong. We got exactly what we expected after the opening rush, which was a pretty tight consolidation up top. So the early morning move, you saw Apple, NVIDIA, we'll get into some individual names, but just to wrap it up, the Qs have been in a 50 to 60 handle range for the entirety of this late day. So I would suspect if you get some fireworks, it's a clean break in any direction is likely to have a little juice behind it. We always say the same thing around the Fed. 2 o'clock, when you're not in a rate moving environment or you're expecting any kind of surprise, which we're not, you got to wait till 2:30. I think a lot of times it's what gets said or not said at the podium that gives us our definitive direction, and then you go trend hunting. So I'm always thinking reversion trades at 2 o'clock, Apple VWAP kind of deal, short AMD because that's been weak. Like look for bounces off VWAP on Apple, which has been super strong. Up 5%, Apple did it again today, going absolutely ham. But I think of strong stocks, I'll be looking to buy dips for any kind of whipsaw rubber band action, and weak stocks like an AMD, you know, I want to look to maybe sell some rips. I'm on the offer of AMD if we get up into VWAP, and if there's some crazy move up, I want to quickly fade it. You know, and just keep that same plan of action that we usually do in here, expecting 2:30 you get better direction.
Yeah, I feel like what's up, everybody? We sort of know what's going to happen here. It's 1:54 right now, so we got 6 minutes to go, and then we will get no comment or no movement, and then we'll wait for 2:30 when Fed Chair Powell will hit the podium, and then we'll start to hear some more questions. I mean, let's just wait. They're going to talk about being data dependent. We got a lower CPI print today. If inflation's coming down, that means that rates should follow. Remember, we brought the rates up to battle with inflation. Now inflation, today we get that downtick. So I think it's all sales for a cut, just not today. But now they have the data. Looks like it's moving in the right direction. I'd say cut away, and that will probably happen next time. And again, if there's a surprise rate cut right now, I mean, we're already long NVIDIA, so then this thing should absolutely moon, but we'll wait to see what does come through. If there's a surprise rate cut, I'm just going to be going over.
You just punch long.
Punching long. I mean, I'll probably go with the Qs to get triple the move. Yeah. But we'll wait to see what happens right here. TQs again at the highs. I mean, some of these candles just look incredible right now, breaking higher. I mean, this is what the NASDAQ looks like. I mean, you don't think that, this rate decision is going to have an effect? Well, it may not. I don't know anything's going to slow this market down unless Powell says something that we don't expect. And, the only example Neil could give this morning was something that it was unrealistic. So I don't think there's anything realistic that he's going to be able to say that slows down this market. So we'll look to buy dips as well. But again, there's two choices. Either you kind of want to keep your share size the same and play off some of these already defined levels, which I'm fine with, or I think lower the share size and wait for a move and then react to it. So I think that's probably what I'll do, is give it a second. You guys know that I'm always trading this, and we've had some of our best trades off of this kind of a number. So I'm gonna be looking for picking up weakness here if it does dump down. So that's kind of my idea right now to start off the show with. We're still long NVIDIA, and that's it. So yeah, I mean, we filmed the podcast. I wasn't here too much during lunch.
It wasn't a ton.
It was a banger.
I mean, there wasn't a lot that happened during lunch.
No, I was looking at the charts.
There was that small cap Longeveron made a move and then kind of pulled back a little bit. I'm only in a firm because it finally found a bid. It broke out. The only position I'm in is going to be a firm. It missed a breakout early, and then we just waited for it to get all the way back down at 36, triple bottom. So I'm sitting in this. If it fails VWAP, I probably just get out of it. And we'll get to some individual names. There's some small cappers running that we talk about, but this is not necessarily a small capper day. I think if you were trading Apple and NVIDIA and AMD and ARM, then that's where you're going to be in the afternoon. Apple actually testing the highs right now. So I still want to be dip buying into VWAP on this. I want to at least take a shot if we can get ARM. This somehow bounces off of VWAP at like $150. I think that looks pretty darn spicy. But this one's off to the races, actually up 8%. So this has really been leading a lot of things. No executions on it today. Should have had a plan of action for that 150 level when we were looking at some of the other things at noon. This really started to take off at $150. And then just, it was okay, and then it went ham. So if we get a pullback, I want to be buying dips in the strong names, which should be easy to tell from the weak ones. As I said, AMD weak, relatively speaking, barely even up on the day underneath VWAP. You got things like ARM absolutely flying, and we already talked about Apple. So with 2 minutes to go, we'll get over to Brendan. Brendan's going to have essentially the no change for us, and then we'll see what they change in terms of statement and what do they cross out on their statement, or what do they add to it will be important. 2:30, I think, is a bigger deal.
All right, I was just noting to Sharif here, this is actually one of those meetings we're going to get economic projections from the Fed as well. They do that every other meeting typically, or once per quarter it typically works out to. There's 10 over a 12-month period, and it usually works out to once a quarter they do this. So economic projections, which include interest rate projections going out 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then longer. They call it a longer term, but it's a 5-year. So those are expected to come in at 3.9, 3.1, 2.9, and then 2.6 on the longer term outlook. Just to, if anyone was wondering, everything is expected to stay the same, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5 across the board, which is where obviously we are right now. We have a minute. What are you looking for?
Is that the dot plot? Those interest rate
Exactly.
projections?
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
the dot plot.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. So we're going to get another dot plot.
Yeah.
That's going to help us gauge how many cuts. So can't wait for that.
Yeah, just they're just going through. Just hearing a couple things in my ear. They're going through what was expected and what's everyone is looking for as far as these numbers are concerned. So about 45 seconds here to go. As far as what the overall market has done going into these, typically you'll see liquidity kind of dry up, and there won't be a book if you're looking at a level 2. And just a couple seconds before the actual release comes out at 2 o'clock, and then the algos take over again, and that's simply a result of algos being shut off ahead of it.
Yeah, well, it's so unpredictable, Brendo, right? But yeah, widely expected again. I want to show you guys, this is the website over here. It's federalreserve.gov. This is where you can go to get his speech. It's going to be released like in seconds. So the last one we have here is a commencement by Governor Cook. It should be above that one. Here we go.
All right, 5 seconds to go here, and guess what? We're going to get no change on interest rates from the Federal Reserve. No change officially hasn't popped up here, so 5.5% as expected. across the board. As soon as these economic projections come in, we'll get to those. There we are. 5.5%. Hearing the statement in my ear here, guys. We'll jump over and see how the market's doing.
There it is.
Yeah, a bit of a move down. Look, we just took out 19.5 on the NASDAQ. No pullback in Apple. That's worth
A little bit
anyone.
of a move here.
Yeah, there's not, like, Apple pulled back 70, 80 cents maybe. I did trail my stop on Affirm because I didn't want that getting past the 36 level. So I went to break even on Affirm. So we'll dip out of that. If that holds 35, maybe we get back in. But it was Apple that I want to dip by. So if we get VWAP, it's seeming almost unlikely at this point. So not a heck of a lot of movement. You got the slight move into the downside. And over here in the NASDAQ, 30, 40 points down and then right back up into the top. So not a heck of a lot happening. As we expected no change. We got no change. If we end up breaking out these tops, I'm still going to look for the dip buy. The initial reaction's down, so I'm looking for some weakness to get bought up if I can even find something dipping far enough.
Yeah, we almost got filled there on Apple. We're trying to get 50s, so we'll take a little small fill here on Apple and see if we go. We're long at 83s. We're trying to dip into some 50s right now and then a breakthrough 216, and we'll be able to get out of this one. But right now we're long Apple and we're long NVDA. NVIDIA 80 cents in the money, but that's an older trade. Apple we just put on right now, long at 83s. It's moving around. It's a dime right now. We're looking to get a little bit more on this one. Let's go Apple. Let's go Brendo.
The Fed future is pointing to one cut again. Remember, as of this morning off that CPI data, 70% was pointing to November. Now before the end of the year, pricing in one cut, but they are pricing in, guys, 100 basis points worth of cuts next year, which was basically where we started this year. If we rewind the clock back to January of this year, economic projections across the board higher. So that's also going to send the market a little bit lower, which means the dot plot in general all slightly higher. Not huge moves, only a tenth here and a tenth there, but for the most part across the board, 1 year out to 5 year projections were higher.
I mean, we're automatically, I mean, if you're following me, hopefully, right there. We just bought Apple. Apple's almost $1 now in the money. NVIDIA is now $1 in the money. Apple now 80 cents, trying to go higher through that level. So there it is again, man, another dollar, put it on the board. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We keep saying that, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I'm still, at the end of the day, we're not going to get the dips that we want. I'm glad you got into Apple. I was looking a little bit deeper. I just found Tesla, which is actually still underneath support. So I think this can be one that we can jump into. I just saw everything else in the market get to the upside. So Tesla, long story short, up 5%, rejected 180 bucks. Just did a dip down into 178. I'm trying to grab this one here off of 179.5 on TSLA. Bit of a name that we didn't really touch earlier today, but I'm going to jump into it. The other thing that's happening, we'll get to some GameStop a little bit later, but that's starting to get back above 30. If GameStop can take VWAP, I am interested in grabbing that. So I just grabbed the dip into Tesla into 178 we're looking.
Good luck with that right there. We just put $1 on the board and out. I mean, sometimes it'll take people minutes, months, years, even myself to make $1. During this environment, there it is right there. Look at that. We buy 216.80. We are out right there, 217.80. Honestly, I think we got 82s. $1.01 right there on Apple. And I think this is what it's all about, right? We've, we just made a little bit more. The first trade on Apple today into the 200, which is perfect for me, and then bought it right back up into day's high. That's $1. We just spun it again. We are at the day's high. We have no LFT. We're still rocking. I'm not going to rebuy this dip unless we get into 216.50 again, which is where we were trying to get that dip. We actually wound up paying 80s. We were just pennies away from actually getting many more shares down here, but we'll take it out. And I'm actually thinking now, what about this break higher now through 218 high of days? So I think that's the trade that I'll be looking for right now into the close. 218 high break now for Apple. But yeah, I mean, no bullets here by the Fed. 25 basis points cuts in 2024, and then another 100 in 2025 is what they're looking for. So looks like we'll get the one cut that we thought about, that we all knew, and that's that. And again, this has just been a pretty good day here to trade. Obviously, this is going to be my best day of the month. And right now, we'll just sit and wait to see if anything else hits the news wire. And on that note, what say you, Brendan?
Part of these expectations, guys, are forecast 2025 PCE and core PCE inflation seen at 2.3%. That's versus 2.2% going back to March.
Okay, well, we're starting to get some more things. Actually starting to turn it back down. I just got the quick $0.50 on the dip buy on Tesla. It's holding 80s right now, 178.80s. It got up to 179.5. I'm not looking to reload this one, and we're going to get to AMD in a quick second. That is about to break lows. So we get in here, 178.80. I'm just going to jump it out here, about 30 cents worth of risk. We got the 50 to the upside, but if we're going to start heading southbound, I was on the offer of AMD at VWAP. I don't think we're going to get it at this point. This is still trend down. It's about the only name that I actually like a short on. So if we hold underneath 19.5, this would be the one I try to jump into for any mean reversion in the other direction. I said if GameStop got above VWAP, we'd have a look at it. It's only at 30, but a 31 break. If it can get above that, that would get that one back in the pocket for me there. So the only short I'm looking at is going to be AMD. If we get VWAP, great. If it makes a fail of this 160 level again, this is a real volume candle. Dollar up and down with the top at 160.40. So if it can never break this high, the trend would be downside continued here on Advanced Micro Devices, the weakest of the chip names. Brendo.
Not much in the way of change as far as the statement is concerned. If you remember going back to the last meeting, they added that part about in June, they were going to slow the pace of the runoff of the treasure caps that were coming off. So they crossed that off, obviously, because it's June. So that's begun. So other than that, nothing has changed on here.
Almog asking there in the chat, Brendan, was there any mention of date? Like, are they going to talk about maybe cutting in September? Was there any mention of that? Maybe that'll be a question that we'll get from the Fed on Q&A. So if Brendan hears anything about that, we'll get all the information that we find relevant back over to you. Brendan's working the desk as we speak. So anything like that, we'll get involved with it. All right, so because that was just a nothing burger, as we sort of thought it would be, let's just move on and look for the next trade. So Apple, we already took $1, right? So put that on there right there. It's going to just add to what we're doing here today. So pretty clean trade. All of our trades today have been super clean. It's not like we're scalping back and forth too much. Palantir, we'll get to that, potentially a different story. All right, that's Apple. I want to look at Amazon, as Amazon right now is breaking lower. Talk about a story of two names, as we're still long NVIDIA, which is a monster, and then Apple, which is a monster. It's the other way around here for Amazon. Amazon's feeling weaker today, down 0.46 into a strong market. So if you are looking for a short, I think this is one for us right now. That little level break right there of 186.80, it's now gone and looks like it wants to go a heck of a lot lower. So for me, I mean, still be here for this trade, but it is quite clear that Amazon right now is breaking. So I want to short this. If and when I've now found my target short, all right? We talked about trading with Tesla before. I now looking at Amazon, what was up with this? What's up with this? What's up with that? So for right now, I mean, I'm thinking about the short here. I like it back to the 50 period. I like 50 period retracements on these stocks. So 186.75 is on my radar right now. 186.75 for Amazon up into 187. Got to give this one a little bit more room. That wick right there would have smoked you if you were trying to go short against that 50 period. So that's 187. Hey, let's just put an offer there right now. We've made one trade here this afternoon, and it's $1. So if you had that, maybe you're already done. And I don't blame you if that's true. But there it was. Look at this dip buy right there. Find the strength, find what you do best. We know that. It's Apple. It was a nice move, dollar club. So I'm going to put now Amazon back on. I only have a very, very small position of this NVIDIA that's coming out at 124.50. So if we want to break this trade down, I know we're all here for the Fed, but we just bought this off VWAP. That's $1. That's almost $2. So right now, if we lose, we'll lose 40 cents. Good trade. Amazon, we're going to wait for that short.
Yeah, I think you just got to find that weakness. I'm not on the offer of game AMD because we're not really holding that support on the NASDAQ, and you want to be short something weak. It's not red yet, but I feel like it's just a yet kind of thing. If the market continues trend down, this should get there. You mentioned Amazon. I went over and looked at another big cap tech name, it's been back and forth, green to red, like 5 times since the release has happened. That's Google. It's just barely holding on here. And underneath this 177, starting to look pretty good as well. So if we don't actually get a pop in AMD that we can fade, I'm thinking Google should be a name to go short. Strong names we want to be at VWAP if we even get it. Tesla's holding up pretty decently. Like we got in here at mid-80s. We're able to get out right in front of 179.50. It's still right in the same range. So Tesla's holding on to a lot of the strength as the market is making a decent enough attempt, I think, to bounce back into it. We talked about a lot of the chip names being strong. I was thinking we'd get some kind of a dip in ARM with all the volatility that it had. ARM went like $1. I was expecting this, if the market went down, to drop like 2, 3, maybe even 4, but ARM is hunting back in for those highs. I don't want to take any top breaks before 2:30, so I'm going to still look for dip buys in strong stocks. I just don't want breakouts before Powell's talking at 2:30 and doing the Q&A.
Just bullish. Yeah, we were pretty bullish here today. With the market up 1.33%. Randy, how's your day going?
That is weak.
Okay, good. All right, so GameStop. It's funny, last time you were here, we were talking about GameStop, and someone in the chat there was like, yo, Sean, what's up with GameStop?
Oh, it's dropping.
So $33. Look, it's still up down 5%, sorry, but did have a nice move up to $34. Now GameStop's coming right back into a spot that I think you could buy. I think you can buy this spot. I think you can buy 28.50, right? Yeah, exactly, Randy. Buy the dips here. Why not? Let's see if we can take advantage of that in GameStop, buying some of these dips into 28.50. So let's just put a bid there on 28.50 to get long. If it comes back in, we will take it. So we'll put the bid there if we can get that. The other trade ideas we're working with is Apple, and we all love Apple around here, that's for sure. Taking the high, another 5%, Randy. I mean, look at this. There's WWDC. And what would DC do? DC Comics, hopefully no more movies. But there it is, 200 break higher and no stopping this day. So I'm going to go long. I'm going to try to go long on the break higher into the day. So today's high is 218.12. We already went long on this dip right there. That was $1 in 1 minute, Randy. So we spun that one. And now we'll wait to see if it can get even higher than that right now. As here's Apple trying to take out those highs. I like to short in Amazon, but that's not printing anywhere near. Stay with strength. Stay with Apple. We're looking to go long through the top of Apple. And here it goes right now, breaking through 218. Nothing can stop it. It's all the way up. Did you ask for a coffee? Sure, Randy.
Stopping it. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up, and that's exactly what Apple's saying. While you were basically just going over Apple, AMD ticked right into 116.25. About that, came right back into the 80s. We got 13s or 11s into that 90 level. Still inside the range for AMD. As long as it's down here, I'm not going to be concerned with VWAP. Going to try and scalp trade it inside of the bottom of that range. We're getting a bit of a pullback in Apple. Tesla was the other name that we had here. It's not really doing much, so I'm going to move away from Tesla. We had that first move, and Tesla now not even reacting to any of this. You want to see something which is trying to go, and I feel like this one isn't. So I'm going to pivot over to something which I like this 140 level on Micron earlier. Didn't really diddle with it, but it's holding VWAP. We were along this 138s on the day. This is one of the many like top breaks, all-time high, all that kind of good stuff. So Micron, anything above here is holding an all-time high. So if we get a bounce off VWAP, I want to see some buyers step in, and I'll pivot from ARM and Tesla to this name because it's at a key price level. So we're going to work with some Micron in here. I'm throwing out the GameStop, VWAP breakout, at least for now, just because it kind of rejected 30 and is heading lower. So the next thing is probably some kind of a dip buy. 28's a good level, 26 as well for GME. When the release happened, it was at 30, and there was a potential for a break. It's decided to go $1 in the other direction, so no need to fight it. Brendo?
I just saw this image, and it's a very good explanation of exactly what we were talking about. So this is going back to May on the expectations. This is June now, so revised essentially to 1 cut from where we were earlier, 3. So these clusters represent an entire year worth of voting. So if you go out 2 years from now, somebody has it pegged at 2.25 down there in 2026. The lowest here about 275 going out to 2025. But the median here is about 4.25, 4 and change, let's call it, for 2025 on the dot plot, guys. But you can see that shift, as I mentioned, back higher a little bit.
Okay, I find like what's interesting is you'll get like a million different people analyzing the dot plot in a thousand different ways. Like, I don't know, it's interesting to look at. Price action is going to rule the day at the end of the day here.
Yeah, the dot plot's pretty irrelevant if they're going to keep changing it, right? All right, thank you. Right there, the Fed is always, yeah, leave that on there. Thank you, Randy. What time are you out of here? Soon, Randy? All right. Safe travels, my friend. Enjoying it today. Yoel, we did not get a cut. So there it is, Yoel in the chat. Are we expecting a cut or not? We got status quo as expected. So I'm not taking anybody by surprise, the movements here today. So I'm just going to look at GameStop. I still want to buy that level. I mean, we sort of gone over this a little bit here today on what we're looking for. GameStop back into here. It was our #1 trade P&L-wise for me yesterday, buying this and then buying some 30s and 28.50s and some of these dip buys again. So we're going to try to do it again. I mean, this 28.50 held on earlier on. That's actually right off the open held. And then we ripped up about $4 from that level. And then since then, pulled back into 29.50, then ripped up $5 from there into 34. And now you're down that $5 right back into this level again. So look, I mean, GameStop is going to be one of those stocks that you're just going to have to try to be smart about it and play off of key levels, and that's what we're going to do. The only time we've really ever lost on this was when the Roaring One himself started to get all crazy. We had a nice move upside earlier on that day, and then, of course, this is where it was just, I think it was 17 halts or something on this day, and that was last Friday, where he was, off air for 30 minutes, came back on, and then, was threatening to hit the eject button and all this kind of fun stuff that was happening. And then, if we just waited and was patient down there, you're able to pick up some bottoms in and around this 27, and that would have paid off even down. I mean, that's $2. Like this 27, that's 29. So, and then yesterday, again, we found this 23 level that we were very, very patient with and got 2 or 3 fills down here, loaded it up before eventually taking it to the north side. So we're getting pretty close now. I mean, I'm bidding GameStop here 62s. What exactly are we at? I feel like we're there right now. So 10 cents away, and we're long on GameStop. Let's ride.
Yeah, low of the day is real close on GME as it starts to tank in there. Tank is the wrong word. I got 28.50, check that, 28.37. So that's why I'm looking for a bounce on GameStop. 28, call it like 28 quarter down in there. If it gets down to today's low, which would be pre-market, or right at the open as a matter of fact, that'll be like 28.35. So I do like it. Micron just dipped off the 140 level, so it is starting to head back into the upside. Hold on to VWAP up 4%. If we're not going to get any kind of thing in Tesla, Tesla with a decent range, but I feel like the levels here on Tesla, it's kind of sitting in no man's land. This is a pretty decent potential for a 180 break. If we do go trending to the upside and Powell takes us to the promised land at 230, the 180 break looks pretty clean. 180.27 is the actual high, so slapping a 30 break, but I'd wait until we actually get Powell on that podium to care too much about it. So until then, I want to trade off like defined levels, like this 140 level on Micron. If you happen to be watching AMC, I feel like this is one of these things is not like the other. AMC's volatility is almost non-existent. That said, the $5 level. If there's a dip into 28 that I miss, and there's a chance to get 501, 502, something like that with a really tight stop, I'll just jump over to this if I happen to miss any kind of a dip buy over in GameStop. Because I think with that, if it starts going, you're like, crap, I've missed that trade. Sometimes you can get a quick scalp trade looking on over at AMC, and it's right at the $5 level, which does give you a good risk to reward on the trade.
All right. I mean, again, there's someone in the chat asking, where do you learn about day trading? I mean, I just took $1 on Apple here. I talked about why, and I talked about that I was taking the high of the day break as well, and talked about why, so I hope you're learning. Here goes Apple. We just took out the day's high. Why not? Let's just see if this wants to continue to work, man. We're pretty hands-off right now and pretty comfortable and pretty enjoying what this day means today. For the stock market, what it means for our accounts, what it means for stocks like Apple and the rest of them. I mean, it's just been an absolutely door knocker of a day. Like, hello, we're coming in, and it's the NASDAQ. I mean, look at this trade. We just talked about taking this. I mean, real sees real. I mean, we'll see if you guys want this trade or not. We talked about breaking the high of the day. For me personally, I can't explain these trades any better than exactly this. And there it goes right now. Now it's 50 cents in the money. I mean, we already took $1 down here. If we were still holding this, we'd be $1.50 in the money. I mean, you guys can clearly see what's happening on the desk here. And so far, so good. As we'll take this bull and hopefully take it all the way to the upside. There goes Apple right now. All-time highs and just continues to go. Let's put an offer at 70. I mean, this is the thing. When you trade with shares, you're able to take advantage of these moves. So there it goes. Let's wait to see. We're long at 17s now, 45 cents in the money, and we're sneezing at it. Let's see if we get a little bit higher here on Apple. Long GameStop, by the way, as well. So far here today, on this move in the last 20 minutes, $1 right here, another 40 cents right there. And now we're into GameStop. I'm in it a little bit early because I feel like we missed that dip the last time. If it still comes back in, yeah, hit those bangs. Let's go. We'll see what happens now with GameStop back up to the upside. But if you're a trader, I'm here for you. Let's go right now. We've talked about these positions. We like Apple. We like GameStop. I like the stock. What you got over there?
Tesla's at 99. So 180 break about to income on Tesla. No break, no break, no break. Okay, I was just staring at it. We just got to 179.99 on Tesla. I'm going to put an edge A stop in there. That's been way
Is that a 1 minute chart?
3 minute.
Oh, 3 minutes. Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, you know what? I find, and I know a lot of people will look at 1 minute charts. These breaks are a little bit easier to see sometimes for some people if you look at a 1 minute. I like a 3 minute. You can see consolidation sometimes better on a 1 minute. I feel like that just gets me out of. I don't like it. I feel like.
So what is the idea here? Short in front of 180?
No. I'm not taking. I don't want to short a strong stock at any kind of a high. I just don't want to be doing that. Like I'll take a break trade and I can have a tight stop and like risk it to 80 or something like that. But if I'm going to short something, it should be a weak stock. It should be something trending down. Tesla ripped so many faces off today. Like I thought it was going to be a relatively weak day. Like I wouldn't have pegged this as being stronger percentage-wise than NVIDIA. There's no chance. I feel like when it surprises a lot of people, I don't want to be fighting it in any stretch of the imagination. So I'm looking for the breakout here.
Look at Apple.
Anytime you stare at it,
Right.
It just went to 99 for the third time and just pulled back. So as long as it keeps putting in higher lows, I'm still going to take the breakout. But you just got to be patient for it. It hasn't quite broached that level yet.
I mean, Apple right now is now almost $1 in the money on our last punch. Like, what is even, what, if you're not, and again, Neil's waiting for Tesla, that's cool. But I mean, Apple has been the obvious, easiest trade for the last 2 days. It's why yesterday we had the big trade and why today we're just, look what we're doing. Boom. I mean, and again, that's why I asked Neil about what his trade idea was, right? He talked about giving 20 cents worth of risk to Tesla there. That's the kind of stuff like, you got to know your trade before you're into it. And I mean, look at this Apple. I mean, it is, I didn't even, for this example, I didn't even have a stop in. I just took the long and was like, all right, we'll deal with it when it happens because that's how confident we are on this trade. I mean, dip by there. We were just long 216.70. It's at 219. Like you're like, I've already said this. And I think that if you, I mean, what are we, Neil? What are we even doing right now? I mean, there we go, another $1, $1.10 in the money here on Apple as we just break through these levels. We don't even have Powell on the damn podium yet, and we're doing all of this stuff. Oh yeah, by the way, your boy is here as well. Shout out to Game Stonkers right now. I mean, look where we're long on this one. We're long on GameStop at 60s. Let's take a piece out right now. There it is right there. Let's go. Let's spin it again. Today, Apple monster, GameStop, NVIDIA, Oracle, Palantir, Tesla. Let's just keep on going. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're at the high of the day. We don't plan on losing this trophy here. Let's be smart about it. Today's a monster day, my biggest day, probably in months. Yeah, we're really happy to be doing it right there. Here we go. There's that dip buy in GameStop. So it comes right into the levels that, again, we talked about. And thank you for asking, where do you learn about day trading? Well, you want to learn about this. We just gave you GameStop right there, which is a pretty nice one. Take 50 cents if you want it. Apple mooning as well. Pulling back a little bit, and that's why we took some out. But Apple, nicely done, up to 219.50, man. How's your Tesla trade? trade?
I can tell you right now, wishing I'd been in the Apple break. I like a consolidation breakout. The longer it holds, sometimes it's going to be like it's coiling up. But if you were shorting this at 99, I'm not going to do it. But if you were shorting this at 99, you've probably been scalping it 3 or 4 times off this level. I just feel if you like a stock in a certain direction, I'm always going to go in that direction. I learned my lesson with that. Specifically, it was on Apple at 180. So we're still looking for that breakout trade. I'm not really into GameStop just yet. But I'm going to pull this up. I don't want to get away from the level 2 on Tesla because that's what I think is going to happen next for me. But this level here at 29.10, I was going to take a break out of the local high up here. But with that dip down in, I'm waiting at 28.30. Said that's where I liked it on GME. We could still get filled. But if we don't ever breach 28.5 and all these wicks just resolve to hold higher, then a break of this local top here at about 29.15 can be a decent setup for it. So I like the fact that you're rejecting everything underneath 29 even. I'm still on the bid. I want tighter to 28, but if we never get it, I don't mind breaking out the top on GME. Just want to show you my black chart, and I'll throw it back up there. Still not much happening in some of these other names. I know Google's looking relatively weak, at least a little bit relative weak. But I'm just going to be on Tesla until Powell hits the podium. This either breaks or it doesn't. I can go dip buy hunting back into 178.5, but if it's in 20 cents, then I know they could come any second now, and you want to be ready for it. Talked about that in the lesson of the day. Make sure you stay in your lane. I don't want to be sitting on a level 2 of, let's just say, Microsoft, and then Tesla breaks 180, and then that's the trade I was sitting here wanting to get. If it wins, it wins. If it loses, at least it's the one that I want, and it's the one I know I want here at this 180 on Tesla. A little bit late to the party, but it's very well dressed with this double top.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we talk about this all the time. I mean, it's just like, you got to sit there and look down and say, all right, how has the strategies been working for us, right? And I think that yesterday we had this trade with Apple and it was working out and it continues the momentum forward. We talk about day 2 plays all of the time around here. But let's look at something else. What else do you guys want to look at? Let's check out what the banks are doing. JP Morgan, let's have a quick look at JPM. Again, I believe... Now, I'm out of this name. Now, I got out way early, man. I mean, I didn't think this was going up to 200. I think we talked about where we had gotten out here. I was going to say 160, but I'm thinking, yeah, I was going to say, no surprise, I remember this level. This looks like a Sean level that we would get out at. Comes right back up, hits 160, drops down to 135. Your boy gets nervous, comes back up and gets out. Right, so we got out of the majority of these shares, probably in and around here. Daryl and everybody else knows sort of how we were trading this name in the pandemic, and we were long JP Morgan $80 and things like that. It's kind of the same thing with some of those square fills down there at 35 and watch that thing run up. But I still think the banks, I mean, now that we have this one rate cut that's kind of been built in, you'll start to see the banks probably try to react a little bit better with some more certainty in the rate environment. So I'll just wait for this move to break back higher above the 50-period moving average, which could be right here, right now, at 195. So we'll wait to see if that's going to be a play. But another name that I was thinking about getting involved with at some point is going to be Berkshire because they're just into everything. So I like a lot of value. But again, this name has been pretty flat pretty much all year. I mean, obviously from the first of the year, we had a big move, but if you go back into February, we're kind of at these levels. And a lot of that is because of the pullback, of course, with the financials. I'm just surprised that we're still down like this and we don't have a huge move up because of Apple. Like, I'm just really surprised. I thought I'd be looking at Berkshire and we would have broke a little bit higher. So I'm going to have to look to see what's up with that.
There was news with a 180 broke on Tesla here.
Nice.
The high of the day is what was 180.27. It is now 35. I just took some out in front of the previous high of the day. I actually got a price of 180. And I was looking at it. My order triggered before it broke, which thank goodness it actually broke because it might have been like a dark pool print at the half print or something, but there was still an offer when I got filled at 180. Sometimes a stop trigger will do that and you got to punch out because it doesn't actually break. In this case, it is going. So Tesla is continuing to go to the upside, going to ring the register out in front of the next $0.50 break in there. I missed GameStop again. I'm sitting at 44. I went Daryl Strawberry on GameStop and it decided not to fill me. So that breakout could happen on GME. It's about 29.20. That's where I'm going to look for it. But if we missed it, we missed it. So we waited for Tesla. It's starting to go higher. The NASDAQ's at high of the day with 90 seconds. Sorry, check that. 30 or 40 seconds until Powell hits the podium. Remember, he's going to get a bunch of questions. He'll avoid saying anything directly. But I'd rather be in something in the right direction with the market or with the stock's trend as opposed to fighting anything at this particular moment. So I'm still going to have that 20-cent stop on it. If we lose 80s, then we're getting out. If we break 181, I'll hold on to a third of it. And okay, one last chance for you, GameStop. I don't want to move my bids, but like, come on. Like either it's going to fill down here off of the previous low, or we're just going to have to take this breakout and maybe make a bit of an adjustment because we just missed it twice.
Yeah, we'll just go a little cow action on this one because that is what GameStop's been. We just took another fill out there at 90. So again, we're only taking 30 cents back and forth here. Now we're holding half to see if we get a little bit of a bigger move now on this play. So again, it's $1 in the money on Apple. We clearly are all over that. $1 in the money on NVIDIA, and then GameStop is what we're looking for. Is it good, CompuCare team? Is it good to sell all Tesla share now ahead of its voting? I don't think the voting really matters that much, to be honest with you. We've talked about it. I don't love the stock of Tesla here. I'm not buying anymore, but I do like Tesla. I mean, it's not, I'm not talking about the day trade, just talking about it as a company. I think there's some opportunity there, and I think most of you would probably agree with that. So I would still say, like, you know, stay in the pocket with your Tesla trade, but at the same time, be wary that it could break down. I mean, there's so many tailwinds for so many names, and I just find that, like, Tesla just doesn't get the love sometimes. Yep, I understand that. No, she's just saying Powell's on the mic. I mean, he's on the mic every time at 3:30, so we will not expect him to give us a phone call, but if he does, then I'll pick it up. So if Powell calls here, I'll pick it up and let you know what he says. But other than that, Brendan's going to have any of the breaking sort of rhetoric or whatever you want to call it that Powell's going to be spewing right now. So that's Tesla, and this is Apple. We're going to wait to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually just under my breath. I was like, when you mentioned Tesla, I was like, did you remember about GM? Because I know you had said you were thinking about selling some.
No, I remember no rest for the wicked.
I put my stink
podcast
offer today. I said in the midday show that I was going to sell a portion of my personal Apple shares at $222.22. I'd call it a stink offer because the likelihood that it gets there anytime soon is pretty low. So when we got that dip, I said I get 44s. I was on the bid at 44 in GameStop. If we get back up to those 29s, going to try to take some out, but we're starting to come back in here on GME. It's actually down 8%. If it breaks the low here, 10% down would sit at $27 and change. And I don't want to ignore that. That would be SSR. If this goes SSR, I think that gets spicy. Tesla pulling right back to that 180 level as Powell takes the podium. I don't mind getting out and then looking for strength right back above the 180, but it's holding 180, at least in the short term, for Tesla. Some weakness was in Google. We were looking for potential. Alphabet right here, just wicked 177.20. I should probably be in this. GameStop just took 28, so I'm out of GameStop. It couldn't hold on to the 28. SSR, as I said, will be at about $27.50. It'll be short sell restricted. I love bounces off SSR, but it's not there just yet. It is getting close.
Yeah, there goes GameStop to the downside. And again, this is why you take profits, right? I mean, I'm not short anything, but we've already taken our profits on this. We only have 20% left. 25% left of this name. If this comes back in and breaks through 218, then we will get out of Apple. I don't even have a stop on this trade, like I said. So let's just do that right now. 217.97. We'll get out if it breaks it. But hey, we're not even thinking about getting out yet here on Apple. So nice move right there. Nice move for NVIDIA. That continues to hold fort now as well. I know Neil was in Tesla. I still like that move. That's now broken back down below. So we're not going to worry about that. Qualcomm, you just mentioned Google, AMD. Someone said Elf Cosmetics. What are you, trolling me again? Because of my lovely wife, Jesus. When this name was at 140 on earnings, she's like, you should just buy this name. That's it right there. We even talked about it on the show. She was in the chat. So shout out to you, Marissa. I love you. That would have been a great move, buying 140 up to 202 right now for that as that goes. GameStop continues to move lower, of course, as we got out of that break, but that's why we take money. Money, money, money. We talk about that. Take that fill, then get out when it breaks. So that's sort of the benefit of playing it when the momentum is there. And then obviously as the whole market falls down, so there goes GME. So we'll wait to see if we can get anything back in on that name. For me, I'm still going to stick with the sticky note level that we wrote down earlier of $26. So that's on there. We'll wait to see if GameStop gets to that level. Other than that, man, you know, we'll still stay where we are right now here today.
Yeah, so Tesla broke the 80, got to 179.40, and like my stop was going to be that 20 pennies, so we did take it out. That's a real wick. It really did get that far down there, so you are getting that whipsaw action. Obviously, Powell's on the podium. You can see he's in the bottom corner, so you can get the captions in there if you're interested in what he's saying. Unless we're getting right back above the 180, holding some bids in there, I'm going to wait for an obvious turn. If we get a support level, great. I think 178 looks pretty darn good. If that even happens, Google just missed what I think was the opportunity there on Alphabet. I just flipped to it. I don't want to chase that down. If I'm getting in, my stop would be 177.25. So chasing it 50 cents in when support is 30 cents. It's 30 cents from its low. It's 50 cents into the move. So, you know, it's like a kind of like a swing and a miss down through 177, but I'm not going to chase it outside the zone. It's been an 80 cent range on Google, so when it's traveled 40 or 50, I don't want to be punching in those lows. As mentioned, GameStop, it's kind of like a moving target to the downside. There's SSR, and then Sean already mentioned the 26 level. It's not a guarantee it bounces at 10% down, but if it so happens to bounce at 10% down, then I'd be looking for a long off that level.
All right, Powell is remaining highly attentive to inflation risks, is what I'm hearing, which he is obviously data dependent, as they keep on saying. Everybody says, hey man, let's review some Oracle. You know, Oracle is going to be, well, Apple will be there, but Oracle actually, I mean, I just put on Apple, but Oracle is going to be a very, very top stock there, and it's just one trade. And I mean, it was a good one here today. You want me to look at it? We will. There's Oracle all the way up to 140. We see it bounce off there a couple times. I'm a support and resistance trader with catalysts. Oracle had earnings, catalyst check, resistance check up here at 140. That's just checked up at 140 again, back down to 139. There's $1 about as fast as you can get it on that trade. And then there it is all the way to the 200 period, where we took on that trade another $3 or $4 on Oracle. So it's like, again, you're seeing the difference in trading styles, right? Sometimes worth holding, sometimes not. And this one, and for me, on Oracle, when we thought we had the top there, we definitely were able to hold this one all the way back in. And everybody saw me do this live on the show. So again, we talked about liking the short, we put it on, and then it was a bank down to the downside and creating, again, another opportunity for wealth. And then you know what? Honestly, just stick with what we're doing over here. This is part of it. You know, look at Apple, right? Like, since we've been back on air right now, Apple, we've gotten long 216.80s. So that right now, Neil, is $3 in the money. This is why you trade stocks that aren't yawns. You have to trade stocks that are moving. All right, we talked about that with Oracle, P&L number 2 on the show. P&L number 1 on the show, NVDA. Okay, P&L number 3 on the show, Apple. Okay, those are 3 stocks that are moving around. Now, a stock that is not very profitable, that we just took an L on, I'm happy to trade it, is GameStop. Again, another stock that's moving around. I think it's worth looking at these names. So is GameStop SSR on our system? Yes. It says E here, so that normally means yes. If we don't have anything SSR, it'll just say N there, or nothing. So I think GameStop will be SSR today. But there goes Apple right now too. I'm not going short at GameStop, so I don't know. There's Apple right now again. Thank you, Mr. Fabian or Mr. Sharif, as we start to go back up to the upside. So there it is, man. So far what we've put on for you, $3 winner here on Apple. Then we got reloaded and added to this position on the high of the daybreak, which is another $1.50 for you. So hopefully, you know, you're trading here, you're able to see some of these moves and learning from this, because I'm learning every day as well. Trade the strong names. We just bounced off 220 there for Apple, only a quarter left. I'm going to hold this until the cows come home. So a break of 218. We may even reload it, but that's my level. We're not dumping anything until we break back down below 218. Come on, Jerome, say something again.
Yeah, he's not really saying anything crazy. They're doing the question. You guys can see in the bottom, like that's Bob Pisani, I think, asking a question. So he's going to get into the question. That's usually when it gets a little bit more exciting. The bull is blocking it. So look, at the end of the day, you've got to try to trade your own style. I love the fact that Tesla is making a bit of a bounce. We don't get 178 in here. It's got a $2 range, top into bottom. But if you're taking a top break, remember, this only went about 50 pennies into 180. And I always say, when in doubt, zoom out. So when I zoom it out, there's room on this up to like 182. This is the big top last week. So just want to put in perspective. The reason I like Tesla above 180, and I should have zoomed out the first time when I showed you guys this chart. It is trying to break what has been a long consolidation. There's your 180 resistance. There's your double top at 182. So I think you've got some range to be captured in here. It just has to hold this bid, maybe even make some fresh highs. I don't mind these dip buys, but this one's got a little bit of room. You got to be able to find those key levels, look at the stocks that you're involved in and that you like, and then try to stick with them. Like GameStop, actually, I think it tagged SSR by about a penny or two, but I was over on Tesla, and it bounced about 70, 80 cents. I didn't think it got 10% down, but I think it actually tagged it by about 1 or 2 cents. You can do the math yourself, though. So it's a good level. I said it was an automatic buy down there, but sometimes that's where you get a bit of a turn when a stock is heading into the downside. So Tesla's having trouble holding the bid above 180. If I don't get that, then I got to look for an even dollar bid on a dip buy instead.
Ooh-wee. Oh man, there goes GME. Good hold by all you guys down there as we bounce off 27.50. Congratulations again to that. And as we congratulate, we talk about feeling some good vibes around here, right? If we're going to talk about stocks that we've been trading here on the show and whatnot, I'm going to give a big shout out to Obi, because right now Obi number 3 position here, so he's on the podium. So let's give a big shout out there to Obi today. And I would shout out Brankles, but I don't know if he wants me to, so we will not do that. But congratulations, Brankles, who's there as well. So again, some big shows there. Yeah, you can clap for that, Patrick. There you go. That's awesome. So congrats, Obi, Brankles. Congrats to everybody trading here today again live. It's tough to trade live, and I'm just shouting out Obi. A lot of you know Obi, love Obi, and so do we. So shout out to him again. Obi will be here for me in a month because your boy got summoned for jury duty. So July 17th, Obi will be here, and then I will.
Jury duty?
Yeah, not really. It's just they're gonna ask me some questions, at which point I will give very, very harsh political views and hopefully get booted off of the jury.
It actually works.
Nah, but under oath, I wouldn't do that, of course. I would just do what is natural. And hey, if I get chosen, it just means more Obi and Neil. So guess what? Everybody wins. So right there, that'll be good. I hate taking time off the market, but for jury duty, I guess I will do my civic duty and do that. So that's going to be fun. We got
Sometimes they get a plea bargain, man. I got so lucky. They call us in, they're like dividing us up, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the process, the guy comes in the room and he's like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. So we got like a half day and we're chilling. I got lucky that regard. I don't want to do it.
I already told Brendan I'm supposed to be there at 8:30. Hopefully I get dismissed 8:45 and we'll be right back in the seat to fire it up for all you that day. You could check out, I'll be tweeting that day and you guys will know if I'm here or not, or you just watch the show. But that's July 17th. That's a month away from now. Just something to talk
July
about.
17th.
And by the way, tomorrow would be, that would be next week or the weekend. Look at this, man. It's just now $2 in the money, AKA $5 in the money from our initial dip buy opportunity right there at, $4 at 216.50. Look at this, man. There's 220. 220 on Apple right now. Probably worth adding to this position as it just rips higher. We're now $2 in the money. And there it is right there. Yeah, Dan McIsaac. I will tell them I like the stock, and we'll see what they say there, Mr. Bailiff. I like the stock. And, well, you know, we'll get going on it. Of course, I think it'd be cool. I would love to sit in a jury. I hope I'm there and can able to see something go down and just be part of the process. I've never been part of that. And I said to the wife, I was really sad when I got it, but I thought it would be real cool to sit there and do that. So I'm going to go and hope to get picked and have that experience. So I'm excited for that as we go, of course. And just joking, I'm not going to say anything negative about that, but I'm going to tell them I'm a day trader and we have the show. So they might not want to choose me anyways because I speak in front of 100,000 people every day, but that might be something that they're going to deal with, not me. I am thumbs up on that. All right, GameStop still dancing around. We are $1.70 in the money on Apple and 70 cents in the money on NVDA, and we're just adding to the levels. I think we'll probably break this long on Apple and take a 220 break. Because again, we could fail immediately on it. If it does, we'll probably hold it back 50 cents, 70 cents or so on a fake breakout through 220. So let me put an offer up here to get out in case that is the high, and we'll just put on just ho-hum. I mean, this is 216, it's 220. We'll put 350 there, plus we'll add this into it, get it out at 220, then go long on a break. It's Brendan's world, we all live in it.
Just real quick, guys, he was talking or directly asked about this morning's number and basically said it's progress and moving in the right direction, but they, guess what, still need more data.
They always need more data.
Don't we all?
Yeah, so like as you were saying that, like I have my stop set at the 220 level. I mean, anything that's setting up an even dollar break in trend, I liked Tesla the 180. It did end up working out just not as much as I would have liked. Tesla's at 179.50 and doesn't seem to want to go any higher. So the next available break that I can see is going to be the 220 level. I was just sitting on my breath. I could get filled this afternoon. This stock was at $215, I'm pretty sure, when I put an offer on my personal account at 22s. But if it gets there, it gets there. I'll probably be scalped out of it. We're 15 minutes into things. The NASDAQ is rolling down a little bit here. So I want to go back over to Alphabet. It's still in the exact same range, Google. 70-cent range on Google market when it was trying to go higher. This was not making much of an effort. It's giving it the old college try, and the result is kind of like junior high action for Google. So unfortunately, this one's weak. If it gets back into the 77s, I'll try the short again, but I don't want to chase it. If the range is 70 pennies, then I'm not putting in 40 cents worth of risk. I want it at 77 even, so I can give it to those quarters. So we're going to get the next move, which should be a break of 220. I wanted to mention that we haven't really talked about crypto. Bitcoin bounced decently. This is a 3-minute chart of Bitcoin. 68.8, caught a little bit of a bottom. Inside range, but if you're tracking, a good bid came in at the early support at 68.8. I had my eyeballs on Mara just in case that broke down. Mara would have looked like an opportunity, maybe for a sell off that 21, but it didn't happen. Bitcoin held on to trend. So, Mara, I wouldn't short it unless Bitcoin is falling apart. But if Bitcoin lost that support level, I might look at Mara underneath VWAP. Free locates on Mars. We don't have to pay for shorts or anything.
All right, because this is a trading show, we'll talk trading, and look what just happened. Apple right there. Monster trade again for Apple. Out there at 220. So again, long there on this dip buy into the 200 period. We say, who's Powell? Nice dip buy there, and then the break of the high of the day. Well explained, I feel like, and obviously here, hopefully well traded as we will just sit here and wait. Still, Powell's still yapping a little bit, so we'll see what that's all about. But for right now, I'm still taking a 220 break on Apple. I like the stock. After that, we could watch out for Tesla, but I'm not going to do that. All right, what else is up there? Palantir, we can look at Palantir, we can look at Meta. Let's have a quick look at Palantir. Palantir is going to be a flat stock for us today because it did break right there at the bottom. So again, here it is. Longs, 24, out 24. I mean, we were doing this while you guys were here. 24.17, and then we held about, maybe it was 10%, maybe a little bit less. Then we did average it back in here at 24, then a little bit more at 90, then a drop down through 85. So, excuse me, the minute that broke, we're getting out. So it is going to be a cup of coffee, but we are, again, just to talk about it, we are failed on Palantir. It did not print out for me. So we are negative on it, but if we had 99 problems, Palantir is definitely not one of them. Today's biggest problem for me really is going to be Tesla. We hit it and quit it off the sticky note, and that was real quick right there. So we take about, I think it was about a 30 or 40 cent hit, maybe maximum, right there. There goes Apple. Apple just broke through. We said, so again, I'm using appropriate shares here to judge this move. I said that there could be a pullback. It looks like that's what's happening right now for Apple. So let's average into a little bit more here in the pullback. We took the break of 220. You probably, I don't know if you have it or not.
Exactly 220 again. Like that's a weird price to get. Like you shouldn't get that. That's actually a bad fill. Like to be, it sounds weird to say, but I generally don't like it to get the even dollar price because that means on some level, the second it broke the level, someone was immediately offering it again. And I ended up working out on Tesla, but that's not some guarantee that it's going to continue to work here on Apple. This is obviously a bigger mover, so I'm giving it to the 50 level. But I don't like the way that happened, because it essentially means that the second that printed above, someone jumped right back on the offer at 220, and then you're able to actually get a fill in there. So I'll go dip by hunting at like 19 or 18 or something like that. But when it comes to that breakout, I don't like it at all. So you're right, I'd slap the fail on that break.
I'm wrong too.
I'm just not it's a very weird thing that happened on both stocks. It's a rare that you get a breakout where I'm saying I'm not buying until it's at 220.01, and I'm firing an order all the way up to like, I think 25 is where I put it to, and I get filled at the even dollar. And so that means the algos might be in control of that one. If we get a good dip buy, I'd like it to be into a support, which would be about 18.5. So I think looking for that at about 19 could be the spot. And the other part about it, just like earlier today, I don't mind taking breakouts twice. We did it yesterday with Apple, and the second one was better than the first, so I don't mind doing that again. Like, if it just takes out the high again, I'm just going to go long 220 again. I don't care. It's a strong enough stock that it should be worth it if it does eventually go.
Yeah, you know, we're playing with big time house money here, and I'm not, like I said, completely different strategies, right? I'm not getting out of this Apple trade until we break back down below 219. So right now we're in this trade. It's an amazing 30 cents against us. That is not an out for me. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening. Maybe take more long as it goes. You got a good fill there. I got 220.11s on that break. So the high of the day, 220.15 right there. But I didn't trigger till 02 or 03, so I probably got a little bit of a blast up there, which is fine for me. All right, so here comes Apple. Let's, no, that's because I averaged in.
Oh.
Yeah, remember?
I thought we just...
Fortune favors the bold there, and we just took a little price right there at 219.70. So yeah, Neil's correct there. That's my price says 220, but I looked when you said that, I was like, what? Did it not break? But yeah, I got 220.11s. So I used Fox River in a different stop there. So that was good. That stop has been fantastic.
Quick look here. I know obviously Apple's breaking higher and been really strong, but the banks are rolling over.
Yeah, we looked at JP Morgan.
You mentioned JP Morgan. BAC looks like it's trend down. There isn't even a green candle here since Powell took the podium. It's been all red. So if you're looking for something, I know I was talking about Google and all that good stuff. You know what, I don't have my stop word to take this long again. So I said I was taking the break a second time. So I'm just getting my Apple stop in, that's all. So if it breaks it a second time, I will be into Apple. And there we go. No, but BAC, no red candles, no green candles on this one. If we are going to roll lower, why not look at what has been bad the entire time? So BAC can't hold VWAP. It's underneath 39.5. Let's just go a little bit further here. It's actually breaking down off of a previous high.
Come on, Apple.
Rejecting. So I do like this potential short. We get like a 39.5. If you go back into prior support, I'd look to short this bank name. Obviously, if it starts doing a huge volume spike to the upside off something Powell said, I might change my mind. But they're bleeding on these. They're bleeding the banks here. So whatever he's saying, which I'm not really paying too much attention to, I'm just watching price action, does not being recepted well for BAC. So I'd look to short a pop here back into 39.50. Support to resistance, pretty simple strategy.
Yeah. What about GameStop? 28.
SSR bounce was good on GameStop.
All right, so the stock that was really exciting to me to go short, and we said this, but we set it up here at 186.80 just as we came on the show. I mean, we're like, let's look for some shorts, and I'm like, yeah, let's look at Amazon because it was under the 50-period moving average. Since then, Amazon has only gone down about $1.20 or $1.30. So again, taking opportunities there on Amazon should have been had, and we did not have it. So I could have just punched short. I was waiting for a retracement up. Very dangerous to be punching things while Fed is still talking. Obviously, you saw that happen with Apple there. But Amazon, again, maybe a 50-period punch back to the short side. If it comes back up and then breaks lower, we can try that. I still like this 186. I still like this level, which is the one that we had liked before. It's just we had missed it. So let's wait to see if it gets back up to 186.50. It still has to go, and I'm not sure it does. That is Amazon. NVIDIA is going to turn against us in a couple seconds. It's been really just doing this. This is, if you can't see where my out is, then please zoom in a little bit more, you can see these little takeouts right there. If we break through 50, we've already had this out from here, so just a little bit lower here on NVIDIA, and we will be out. We are now reloaded in this name, so let's see what happens here with Apple as we take that bid down here, hopefully back up to the upside. If they break 219, then we're gonna get out of this. We are playing with big time house money. Here comes Apple. We're long at 80s right now. If we can get back up there, maybe we'll take a piece out, but this is risky because someone's gonna ask Powell something and it's gonna break down or rip up. And it's just like, that's not reaction to the stock, that's just reaction to the macro of what the day brings. So I'm gonna get stopped out on Apple here if it breaks lower. I still love the stock and I still love this name, but looks like it is going to try to break lower right now, AAPL. And if it does it, it does it. And we'll just get out. I mean, we are well equipped for this risk. So there it is, 219. It looks like it's gonna go. If this wasn't Powell right now, I would probably give it a little bit more room, but again, just because of the day, let's get a piece out, or let's get it all out actually. If we break through 219, that's the offer that I have right now. So we'll do that and regroup it on Apple. The best trades are when he leaves, so hopefully when that happens, there we go. We'll take out some 30s now on Apple just to relieve some pressure. We're long at 77s, so here it comes back up. Maybe we'll take a 50 and then just let the rest breathe because we were almost close. We were close to getting clocked there out at 219 break. So a little bit of relief taken out. Powell still yapping, so more to come.
Improvement in, okay, really? Inflation is improving a little bit here?
Yes, it is.
So pat yourself on the back, Mr. Powell. What you did worked. So I elected the wrong move, which was to wait for a 219 bounce and try to catch it on the way back. But if we can get it on Apple, we will. I made an error. I said we had free locates on Mara. We actually don't. We got to pay for them at Real Trading. They are 1/8 of 1 cent per share on Mara. And Bitcoin did break support, and we are getting underneath VWAP. So if we take out 250 on Mara, I'm looking for short under VWAP. It's not there yet, but I had to pay for them. The whopping cost, if you get 100 shares, it's like 12 cents for 100 shares to go short on Mara, which is essentially free. So I know if you're complaining, hey, how could you go short Mara? I can't get it to my broker. We can here, which is a big advantage, I think. Here at Real Trading, pretty much everything is going to be easy to borrow, but every now and then you got to throw a few pennies at it just for that privilege. So I'm sitting on the bid here at 219.11. If we get it, great. I'll probably give this just underneath the 219 for a stop on Apple. It's a strong one at this point. BAC is trying to catch a bid. I do want to short back into that going into VWAP on the banks. Powell's not really saying anything. I don't think that's. He hasn't said anything.
Come on, Apple.
Anybody.
Yeah, no, he's not doing anything that's shocking anybody, but come on, Apple. Let's go. Let's get this thing singing again, man. We've been buying these dips throughout, right? Let's go. We just take some outs at 50 here. If we can get this going, we'll be real happy with this trade. Let's go, Apple, breaking through 220. I mean, I am like, this Apple move, I mean, wow. It took a minute for these guys to get going, and then once we broke that 2 bills, it was like, see ya later. Nice upside move there for Apple and continuing higher again. And we just trust the process, man. We trust the damn process. Buy dips in Apple, put money in the board. Hey, look, for me, this is a positive name today. So we're playing with house money. Let's see if we can get going. It came right into our levels, and we did exactly what we said we would do. Buy the dips. This got to 219. This got to 219 O's. Right there. So, I mean, if you're waiting for a 219 dip, Merry Christmas, you got it, and there's 60 cents. So if you want to ring the register on that, you can. I still think we break higher. I mean, it's almost 3 o'clock. We've done real well holding out for this. Now Apple comes right back to flat. Remember what our price was, $219.77? So, this Apple trade could be a doozy and a big winner. So let's get going back up to the upside. We did take out some pressure there on that name. We'll see where it goes. GameStop, red on this name just because of this little move here. But again, just like Palantir, what we're red on is 5% of what we're green on. Like it's not even that. So we'll wait to see if GameStop can get going. It looks like it's trying to. I almost think this is a great break, 28.70 or so, this little recent level, because you're going to be above the 50-period moving average. But the ultimate conservative sort of level is 29.15, 29.20, only $1 from now. I like the stock breaking back above there. And you know what, Neil?
Oh my God.
Apple is back. Huge move back up to the upside right now. Let's take a piece out here at 83s, and now let's see if we can go back. This is what happens, man. We talk about this. This is the trade style, right? We talked about holding it back against us, so now let's go back up to the upside. Here goes Apple. I know you're taking the 220 break again. I am not, because we're already in this name. Now 50 cents in the money. Hey, because we're back up here, let's just do it again. Let's put some more money back into our pocket here on Apple and take a damn 94 print right there. Dara, how you doing? How you doing? She's doing well. Okay, there we go. Breakthrough, yeah, no problem. A breakthrough 220. Now goes Apple. Neil, let's see if it's there. Hopefully this time we have better luck.
I just threw the stop order back in there. When if a stock is like $1, $2 away from a breakout price, I tend to cancel the order because I don't want it getting there in one candle and then you wick the top. I'd rather it gradually move up and watching it into the level, but the stop order's back in. I got BAC. We mentioned shorting BAC back into previous support levels, so it just came into 45s. I got, 44 technically. I got 42s to the short side. MAR I paid for the locates, but then MAR is not holding underneath VWAP. So this candle is about 20 cents on BAC. That's what we'll look to capture. Apple is right back at the top. It hasn't broken yet, but if it breaks, we are going to take this one again. I said we'd take the long one more time. You know what I just realized? I thought I hit enter on that. Okay, well, we still got time. It hasn't broken just yet. There we go. When using, we have different stop orders here. When using like an Edge A, which I think is the best fills here at Real Trading, everyone's going to be different. I think it's been pretty good. This one will actually show up where my limit order is going to go. So you know how far I'm crossing. You can actually see the line in there. I tend on Apple, you've been getting it. You cross 25 cents, you'll get it no problem. Sometimes on NVIDIA, you got to go more. But got to have a break to get a break. It has not taken out the top just yet. When it does, I'm no issues getting back into it. We had a dip in the futures. If the trend is up, after Powell gets on the podium, then I want to be playing long in strong stocks. And if you're short something, you know, BAC hasn't really caught much of a bid until just about now. So risking really 4 cents on BAC where my stop is, and then we'll have this break if it does get there. I'm still thinking about the original breakout on GameStop that I wanted. The dip buy was no good, but 29.15, that's the one I was going to take before that move to the downside on GME. Right there off 29.15. So I don't know if I just don't go right back into that well. There's $1.50 room to get to VWAP. There's $1 to that 30 level. So still plenty of action. And we've seen this rip in power hour time after time. So I'm going to get that stop right back in there. As always, scalp trading in for me on this. We're going to take some out all the way up to the 30 if it does, in fact, break.
Yeah, so again, that's just what you were talking about before. We take that, you punched out at 219.50 or whatever it was the first time. So if you just make 50 cents back, then it's a flat trade on Apple, right? That's part of the risk management. I think that's something that here at Real Trading we talk about all of the time. All right, so because I want to, this is the highlighter. Yeah, you're gross. All right, so here we go, man. 220 break higher here on Apple. We're already in this, baby. We can't. Let's go. Let's go. Diamond hands or not, man. Remember we talked about confidence. Thanks to Dara for that quote. I mean, and it's just like we talk about buying the dips. Right, there's the first dip buy, 260, 217. Boom, there's the next. This is a breakout of the day's high, and there's a breakout again. You know, trust the stock. Nice move again there right now. Neil's back into the long. You might be the rub on this, my guy. Let's wait to see what happens. Get going now, Apple. Let's go. Nope, didn't work. All right, let's go, Apple. Breakthrough 220. Hey, we're already in the money, 50 cents on this. Let's take another piece right now because it did fail on that break. So there it goes, man. We'll just keep stacking it up. Apple, a hell of a positive name on this side. Let's see what winds up happening now. Come on, man. Let's break through this 220 and get going for once and for real, because I think once we break up and we get to like that 220.50 level, then I think it'll continue to march. So just need that last little bit of confirmation. But hey, we're long. We've been printing on this name. We're at the high of the day so far for this. And it's just been NVIDIA's been the sleepy one, but I'm pretty happy with this Apple trade.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it. I just took it out again. It could not hold that high. About halfway into yesterday's afternoon move. Like if you're watching yesterday in Apple when we were trading it, I like to try to keep it like strategy when it is working trend to the upside. And when it's not working for me, I've given half what I made in the afternoon yesterday just to keep it in reference. Yesterday was about as easy. From 3 o'clock on, like there's one red candle. Today, see the choppy action. Maybe that's a Fed thing, but the break doesn't look like it's going to be good. I think the dip buy is the way to go. I've got to stop on GameStop, but GameStop just turned around again, so I don't think we're going to grab that one, unfortunately. And as I said, Mara, no hold under VWAP. So I paid for the locates. It's a sunk cost at this point, but as I said, it's really cheap. So you have them in there just in case it starts breaking down. Bitcoin was looking weak, and then we got back higher. Just because you paid for shorts doesn't mean you should short it if it doesn't give you what you want. And we talk about this all the time. Like, you don't have to put on a trade just because you've made that sunk cost. I know traders that are like, they've said that they don't like paying for shorts because then they feel like they're going to force a trade. I feel like you should just be disciplined enough to pay for the shorts so you have them in the back pocket, but then not take the trade unless it sets up. So that's going to be the approach that I'm taking. I'm always paying for it if there's a chance they're useful. I hate to be in a situation where a great trade sets up and you could have been ready to go, but you elected not to be prepared. So that's just not me.
All right, well, we're always prepared over on this side. Not always. And there goes Amazon. Okay, let me see what's happening there. We've really liked this short on Amazon. Hopefully you're saying there it goes upside. Okay, good. So here comes Amazon right back up to the upside. So let's get ready to rock and roll. I like this short up here, so we're going to put it on for Amazon. Although I am nervous about our boy possibly leaving the podium at some point here and this market absolutely mooning on us. So let's just put a little bit on right now. We know we like this trade. I was going to take it against this little level there, 68, but because we're fed and it's going to be moving around a little bit here today, again, you know, this is just a real trade again. Breaking through 187 is the stop. So we'll put on a baby spot right now. And what I mean by that, again, some baby shares are other people's defaults. So what I want to make clear is that right now I have on about 20% or so of what I'll take once by the time we're up here. So I still like this trade. We'll see if it can go in. There's something here at the 200 period, so let's put our next offer. And this is where we'll try to get about 50% of our position and then potentially rethink about this. All right, so we'll put on a position right here, add to it right now in the 60s because that's the 200 period trade that we like on Amazon. So hopefully that will come in. We already have more shares on this than we do on Apple, so let's wait to see what winds up happening right now in the market. Hopefully Amazon pulls back. I like the short up to 187, and in fact, just so I don't get carried away and start looking at something else, look at this, out, 187.02. So if we break that level, just make sure it got accepted, there it is. So that stop order's in right now to market me out on a break back above 187. So that's the level that I like. We're averaging it back in. Yeah, we're averaging back in the 60s. Let's see if this works for us on Amazon. Apple 20 cents in the money, NVDA 50 cents in the money. Amazon flat trade, but a new one. You guys want new ideas? Here's one for me on Amazon.
Yeah, the new one for me is going to be, I'll explain the earlier trade on Longeveron a little bit later on, but it was at $1.50. So you'll understand that this was a key price level earlier on in the day, resistance into support. Thank you in the chat. I think it might have been Scott that was mentioning in the chat, hey, Neil, Longeveron's going. So I know you're watching the midday show because when it did this dip into $1.50, we had it here. It rejected 170 eventually. I probably held on and didn't need to on that move. When it goes up there a second time, sometimes you can just get it all out. But if you're going to hold 150 again, the stop last time was $1.48. I'm trying to get long in front of 150 with $1.48 stop on Longeveron. It is a 5 million float. I don't think it's even that much short. It's only 3% short float. But anytime you do a reverse split, you know what happens. Sometimes they bounce eventually, but reverse split dies. Regains $1 today and is running to the upside on LGV. I'm trying to grab some at 53. Might have to step up to 54, 55 here, just a tad. I don't want to chase it too far. 75 is that top.
We're still, by the way, let's go Hydration Nation. Who else is here? You got your water around, Hydration Nation?
I'm half done.
You're half done. Yeah, I'm trying to pound this back. I just put this in at the beginning of the show.
Actually, I thought I filled mine up, but obviously I didn't. There's no way I'm drinking that much water here. Come on, LGVN. Just one little take.
I fill mine up. All right, so
last time.
All right, Apple is now 50 cents in the money and still trying to go a little bit higher. As it goes higher, of course, we have to watch out for Amazon. I mean, hey, Amazon just touched my level there and I did not get filled. Let's take a little bit here at 58 then. It would just touch 65 where I was sitting. No, I thought we were going to get that there. We do not. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Serenity now. We'll wait to see if we can get that price again for us on Amazon. Hopefully we will. I just put a 58 to try to get something there on Amazon. We'll see if we get it. Apple, again, let's go to that one. Are you still? Oh, yeah, you're out of Apple. All right, so break back into 220. Are you taking it this time?
No, I don't. The breaks have been 0 for 2 this point.
Okay,
like
right. So
I'm on the bid in front of 19, but it didn't actually give it to me here. Not trying to tell myself not to chase this on LGVN. So,
all right. I just wanted to see because like I don't. To me, I'll probably take a look. We'll be $1 in the money, but I think we'll take a 220.50 break. Just because, like I said, I want to go long this name. It's really super working. It'll be a very, very top stock for me, and we just started trading this at 2 o'clock. So we knew the plan of action.
Oh, that was my chart the whole time. Sorry, yeah.
Don't
I was just checking Tesla. I didn't realize you were talking about Apple.
You don't have to worry about anything. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Neil, chill. It was just 3 seconds. All right, so I just want to say, like, you know, this is already just, and it goes to having a plan of action, right? We knew we wanted to dip by Apple, so we did that. We knew we wanted to break the high of the day, so we did that. We knew we wanted to break 220, so we did that. So that's 3 for 3. And I know Neil was saying the breakouts didn't work, but these 3 ideas have worked so far. So let's wait to see if we could continue it, right? And so, and again, part of the podcast was, and we say this all the time, and it's stay in focused with what you're doing. Because the minute you start following somebody else, then it's not gonna work because then you may not even understand what their strategies are. So that's why I'm trying to keep real trading as sort of a thought in my head. To try to show you guys, you know, where I'm trading and what the logic is behind these trades, and then up to you guys to judge if that trading style, profitable or not, works out for you. You know,
there was a guy.
That's the thing.
You actually probably don't even know this, but I'm in my trainee group. I'm not going to say any names. You'd remember him. I've said a couple of things to describe him, but there was a point where I remember there was a trader in front of us, and I think it was a couple of guys you know. And
I mean, you can say their names.
He was
no
mirroring it, the guy that worked at the post office. And I remember there was a trader. There was a trader in front of us, a full-time trader when we were trainees, and he was looking at his screen for his positions. And if the guy got into position, he was like taking the next fill up, and it's like, okay, so this guy gets in at like, let's just say Oracle was $30. I have no idea, whatever. At 30.05 on a long in Oracle, and this guy would be long at like 6s or 7s every single time. And it's like, you can't do that. It just wouldn't work because even if the guy scalps out of the trade and you're in late, and he was trying to copy the guy's positions, maybe he learned something off of it, but I just found you really can't do that. Even if you get it correct, you don't know what his stop is. You don't know the reason he's getting in. You don't know the characteristics of the stock if you're not trading it. Sorry, GameStop made that break of 29.15 as I was trying to tell that story. That's why I was a little bit distracted there. But it's an important point. I've never really seen too many traders be successful trying anything like that. So GME is through that 29.15. It was kind of a random level, but it was this level right in here, right at 2 o'clock. It was a top. So if we get to 30, I think scalp out into the 30 level. It's been a bit of a brick wall for GME. It did go SSR. If you zoom it all the way out, 30, resistance, support. The only good trade I had today on GameStop, because this one was kind of okay, was actually a dip into the 30 at VWAP earlier. So if it was good support earlier, I think it's a resistance level now, but the breakout is working, at least in the short term. Longeveron. So, you know, sometimes you have a good idea. Sometimes you heard me say, don't chase, Neil, don't chase. Well, that was the wrong idea. I could have chased this to any price I wanted and it would have been fine. But I look at what worked before and I tried to be disciplined about it. Sometimes being disciplined is going to cost you. The opportunity cost of not chasing this move is now it's just gone 20%. Now up 120% on LGVN. This could be like a power hour low cap mover. So the next time it does a dip, I'm going to look to see if I can get in. You never know where it's going to bounce, so you just got to watch it like a hawk.
All right, Apple just took 220 again. All right, so let's go back and see right now what's up. So Amazon is like So we were able to get an 80 fill here because it pushed back in. We're short 67s. This is going to break. I mean, it is so geared up right now. It already took that 200 period. We are just pennies away. As Powell's still on, man, I don't know when this guy's coming out here, but he is still on the mic. And so we'll have to wait. Oh, you can see right there. I can't see him, but I can hear that he's still on. So we'll wait to see what happens there. A breakthrough on Amazon and we're gone, and we will slap the L. There it is on that one. So again, you know, Neil just said, I don't think it's a good idea to follow other people. I think you can follow some of the trades that I'm putting on because they're all pretty easy to understand. And that one was a stop out. So again, I just thought Amazon was weak into that. I still will. I'll get all this money back, but I'm not going to revenge trade it. I'm just going to wait. If the market starts to pull back, I will smash this stock.
I want to make a correction though, because there's a difference when you're explaining your actual strategy, because then there's a,
right.
Oh, this stock is trending to this. This is the key level. The dude was literally looking at his screen and just punching into the position, had no context for it. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, you're right.
That is the level of nonsensical at the time. And and the guy was a smart dude. The trader was a smart guy, and he had his own ideas, which were fantastic, but he just for some reason thought that he could emulate, and it was a very successful trader. He was emulating. Every now and then he would walk ass backwards into a winning trade because he just followed the guy. But you had to have an idea of why you're getting in the trade. That's why we explain it. I was wrong not to chase long Jevron. I admitted it. I liked 150. I was going to stop at 148. I was going to risk 7 or 8 cents. Continues to go to the upside. So anyone that's in it, congratulations. $2, big level. You would have heard Sharif say that as well.
Oh, that's it? Okay. By the way, we told you maybe potentially my guy to the right was the rub here on Apple, but right now it's working to the upside. So let's take advantage of this right now. We'll take a little bit out of Apple, and let's just see if it works, man. I still think the break long here through 220.50 is it. And of course, I'm just joking about that. I mean, the market has no idea who's long or who's short, and I wish it did.
Actually, you know, in the SIP, like where it's kind of like in the SIP, like where your order is coming from is in there. That individually doesn't know that it's me, but it does know what broker it's coming from. So that kind of nonsense is kind of true of the markets. They know when it's retail versus all that other stuff.
But it's still trying to, it's still trying to go upside.
Still trying to go. GameStop's having some trouble with 29.65 here, but still on its way potentially to 30. I did say there might be an opportunity in AMC off of $5. Not really as much anymore, but you know what? That was really messy around $5. I don't think there would have been any good way to get into AMC, good risk to reward. It only went 10 cents, and then it went 9 cents against you or 8 cents against you. That's no good. So it never really set up on AMC. GameStop, let's see some follow through, hopefully. That's what you got to get here. And Carvana apparently is moving. Oh! Broadcom earnings tonight.
Done yet? Oh.
Broadcom earnings tonight. That should be a big one. We're going to talk with Tammy, the Fibonacci princess. She's ready, locked and loaded to talk about NVIDIA, Apple, and Broadcom, which I think is yet another name that people have been sort of sleeping on. And it's sleeping today. Wow. Trade what moves? I thought Broadcom would be doing something here. $8 movement on Broadcom, relatively speaking, is not that big. It's $1,500 stock. They should be splitting, but they seem to never want to.
Powell's still on, talking about risks and all that. And by the way, look at this Apple fill right there. I mean, we were able to get out on the tops. Like, we have the high tick of the day there for Apple. I don't know how we got that. I just sat there at 2025 and was able to get that to 2025, I think. I'll find out the fill for you exactly, but there it is. I guess it's not the exact high. The exact high right there is, if I can put it on, well, I can see right here, 220.20. So I think that must be a 15 or something like that. Yeah, 15 fill right there. I'll check my blotter. Apple 13s. 220.13 is a fill that we have there on Apple, and now we still have 20% of the trade. So let's see if it works. I still want to go longer, breaking through. NVIDIA is now, that's $1. We're long at 125. Let's see if that works. And man, oh man, we did take a hit there on Amazon. That's too bad. Again, someone in the chat said Sean and Neil make day trading look so easy, but that's why I try to keep it real with all of you and try to tell you that, like, it's definitely, if we're making it look easy, I mean, we'll pat ourselves on the back, but at the end of the day, you can ask us if we're red or green, and we will tell you at any time, and that's why I try to celebrate and talking about some of the successes that we see on the floor, because honestly, it's tough to do this. And we just celebrated Obi's graduation last week, which was awesome, and hopefully some more to follow, right? I mean, and that's sort of what we're trying to do right now. The next one to graduate may eventually be the one to my left, Miss Adara, because you know what? Adara stays here. Like, she's done now. She's done, and she's still sitting here. Well, looking at stuff.
She's also helping out to prep for the aftermarket show right now.
No, but it doesn't. You know what the thing is like, honestly,
is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely fantastic. But the end of the day is she's sitting here putting in the work. So it's like, honestly, and we talked about this on the podcast again. Like, it's just about figuring out if you like this or not. You know, you cannot pry me, and they've tried around here. Pry me away from this seat, you know? And the thing is like, that's what it's about for me. You know, it's there has to be a work-life balance. There's no doubt about that. But if the market's open and I'm not on a forced vacation or something like that and I'm breathing, or apparently jury duty, then I'm gonna try to be here as much as I possibly can. And that's why when you look behind us, remember I anointed Obi the next one? You know, I anointed him that years ago. Okay, and the reason why is because when I'm staying late to do the recap show, which thankfully Neil's we're gonna be splitting this up now. Again, work-life balance, we talk about that, we put in the work for you. Obi was the only one here every single night. Back here, testing, looking stuff up. And see, and that's the thing, right, is that there's other guys so someone just yelled loser. Well, guess where the winners are right now? Unemployment line. Obi's collecting checks, the only one behind us. Okay? So that's good. That's called being real right there. And that's Obi, and a big congratulations to Obi. Thank you, Obi, for putting in the time and proving the point of screen time.
I can also tell you this much. There's a couple of guys that are usually in here first. Obi is, generally speaking, on the average day, one of the first traders in on the floor as well. So, you know, he gets in here early. He actually sends me his journal every single day, and you should see the level of detail that's in it. I think it's fantastic. And it's, again, not everybody has to sit there and write a journal every single day. I'm not here to tell you that, this is the only way to do is to journal, but believe me.
I've never journaled.
It's certainly true. Whether you review your trades mentally, review your trades when you're sitting down, it doesn't really matter. I know for sure, like during midday, I like to go over some of the things I did in the morning. When I'm on the train, I like to make sure I'm reading this, that, specifically. Whatever works for you. But I find, you know, as long as you're putting that time in. I know traders that their Sunday night ritual is to go over charts for a couple of hours. And I used to do that a heck of a lot more, that whole Sunday night thing. But just whatever works for you there. I did get into long Chevron. I just want to mention it did dip back in. I said don't chase. I didn't chase. I got here long 163, stopping underneath 158. So 148 before, 158 here. If it breaks the high, I'm going to try to hold on to about 20% of it if it does make a high break on long Chevron. Just very, very quickly here. I did not. Powell has left. Well, you guys can see. It's literally just said the event has now ended. So hopefully you guys can tell that Powell is now done. I wanted to zoom out the chart and say why I mentioned $2 on LGVN. It's just the last time it consolidated for a month off 160. It had one test of 2 and failed it dramatically. So I think $2 is a reasonable spot to assume bag holders would be selling something on a Wednesday afternoon here on long Chevron. So I will not be long this thing if it gets to $2. I will be all out 100%.
Again, I mean, so I look at the chat a lot, and like Ruben and everybody that just appreciates everything that I spew out. I thank you for that, because you know, that's part of what I do here, is hopefully be able to teach and talk to you guys about things that we're looking for. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are looking at a position that I'm in right now. We're now 30 cents in the money. What stock did I say, Neil, that I was going to get right back in?
I'm going to assume it's Apple.
Wrong. Amazon. There it is. Look at that. There we go. It's a nice move down there for Amazon. Look at this back in right now. Good move there for Amazon. Starting to go. We are now up on Amazon. So shout out to Sebastian. Shout out to everybody that was up there and saying like this was going to be a revenge trade. Nepa, it's not nothing to do with revenge trade, my guy. This has to do with being able to sit there and understand what kind of patterns you're looking for. And that move there against that high of the day, good move there for Amazon. And now there it is, right? So we go from being upset a little bit about the trade to right now putting in the money, 50 cents right there. Fire that hot dog cannon on for Amazon. Yeah, so far so good. We knew that if the minute that Powell left, this was the party that we wanted to be a part of. So there it goes, downside move. And again, just goes to what Neil and I are talking about every single day. Plan your trades, know what you want to do. Ramin goes, he's off. I go enter, bang. Short, punch the short, pay for it, take the shares you want, buy Amazon. Hopefully, oh man, there it goes. A nice little move to the downside right there. I know you traders can see this, so so far so good here. Just NVDA, and by the way, Apple did come back out as it breaks through 219, and we talked about having 20% left of that trade. So Apple, the best part about this is I only started trading this afternoon, and I could see my P&L, and it's up. So good trade there for Apple so far today, although we are now out of it. As Neil mentioned, possibly Apple. He's right. We were out of Apple. It just came screaming back in, but we just put the damage on the board now for Amazon. We went short and lost. Trading, Neil, as you know, is all about timing. And that was a good time there on
planning, then timing, right? Because
exactly.
You want to have a plan of action so that you're ready to time the move in there. Look, the market might be going down right now. Thankfully, well, we'll see what happens with Longeveron. It's starting to turn a little bit here, so I'm not going to move my stop. I could put it to break even. I'm just going to leave it where it is. Shout out to Mr. Bill. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. I sent your VO there. I believe we did get it. So, anything you pass on to the team, we appreciate you sending that on in. And best of luck there, Mr. Bill. We don't ask necessarily for anything in here that A, you enjoy the show, hopefully B, get a little bit better. And if you like the show, then like the show.
Pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
I love when if you hear us say Brankles, I know Sean Brennan or Brankles are talking about things, he goes off camera for a quick second. One of the things that you have the advantage of when you're on a trading floor, and this is important, is you have a risk manager or you have a couple of risk managers which are going to hold you accountable on a daily basis. That is a gigantic advantage because what it means is there's someone actually looking at your trades and saying, what the heck were you doing with this? What was your plan of action? You're getting asked that and you have to justify it a lot of times. And I think for a lot of people sitting at home or if you're just trading by yourself, that is the hardest part of trading. Is if you do not have someone to hold you accountable, then you have to have internal discipline for yourself. So it's a big advantage we have. I think it's a big reason why the show works because we hold ourselves accountable. You'll hear me say all the time, what the heck was I doing with that trade? That was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. This was horrible. My out was too tight there. As I said here, did I make a mistake with an out there? It wasn't the best out because I could have gotten more. I analyzed this and realized that the mistake was not reloading and then not getting all out when it failed a lower high. That's the mistake. Now it's putting in another lower high off the same top failed break. So I'm probably just going to jump out. And if I reload it, it's got to be a 150. That's the adjustment. I was able to realize that I'm going to take the first dip when it took out the high. But now it's looking a little bit more weak. So I'm not going to reload this off 50s at the same level, or 60s off the same levels before. I'm going to wait for a test of that VWAP. If we get it, there's still some time left in the day, although it is 3:30. I want to respect the fact that it's 3:30 and we are starting to roll back in. Apple is really accelerating into the downside. I got to go over to Mara because Mara under VWAP was something that we did want, and Mara just tagged. I have a chart of Mara up. It's not like I magically knew Mara was getting under VWAP a second, whatever. Like I don't have magical powers. I'm looking at a chart up here that showed Mara getting under VWAP. If it can hold the offer under 50, which it's not doing currently, then I want to jump into this one. Bitcoin still under that $70,000 level. And I know you're like, oh, you don't want to punch the bottom of a move. But this is a key line in the sand here. It was holding that support the entirety of the afternoon before the Fed even came on. Support was at that 50 level. So now you get the acceleration. Going to pop on the offer here. I'm trying to get some 44s. I had to pay for locates on Mara. Dirt cheap. Like I said, 12th 12 cents for every 100,000 shares is what it costs to get this short. Not going to chase it, but we're sitting here at 44 trying to get tapped in as Mara finally broke VWAP and then held off for under. It's not enough to wick underneath. I want to see sellers under that price to join that move. We're about 19.45 now on that NASDAQ and trending lower and lower. And GameStop might hit that 26, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. Well, I don't know if we'll be in it again. Amazon just is $1 now in the money. I mean, the dollar club today, I think, has been every stock pretty much. I mean, we don't necessarily have $1 in GameStop, but I mean, this Amazon trade is pretty good. Trying to get down lower now. We knew we wanted this Amazon short, so. Like we were saying, Neil's been looking at Longeveron. We did get stopped out of Apple. Apple now 217 and change, so you're right about that one. That one continues to make a downside move. There's the NVDA break. We're gone on that one. The number one stock today for me is NVIDIA. So that's been good. Amazon, we just took $1 on that. We can look at Oracle. That's probably coming back in as well. There it goes. So, we love trading Fed days. So it's been a great day today. I want to thank everybody for watching and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I just went and got some more water here.
So just to quickly come in.
Thank you, Hey Davis.
Someone just said GameStop's SSR, but it's still falling. That's the kind of play, when it tags it, it's a gimmicky style trade. I want it the first time it goes. Just because is short sell restricted, needing an uptick to hit the bid, doesn't mean it's going to bounce like a rock and just only trend up. But if it does, off that level, I want to get it the first time. I didn't get it. It probably missed it by a cent or two. But it's a one-time trade. We've talked about this at the open for many stocks, where if it doesn't work right away, we don't want it. So I did just jump into Mara in here. Is it continuing to hold underneath VWAP? So it already started to make a bigger move. I have shares at 47. Let me just cancel. I was trying to get 46, 47's on the way down. I didn't get 47, then I offered 42, and I got 42. So if it comes back up, I don't need to be anchored to 47 or anything. VWAP's up at 55, which we'll try to grab. It is 3:30, so you're going to get some early look imbalances. I'm not expecting much of anything here today. Just to remind everybody, next week CrowdStrike is getting added to the S&P 500. That is a gigantic deal, so next Friday matters a heck of a lot for them, and GoDaddy and KKR is the other one. Currently, Ford is an early look, 2 million to the sell side, CNQ 2 million to the sell side. Nothing really going to stand out there. Those are the big two. Ford's had some imbalances, and it kind of always pairs off. So nothing exciting on the early look imbalances. It is past 3:30. We'll give you updates as we see them.
Congratulations to Skilo. This is actually the purpose of the Freedom and Wealth podcast, to be completely honest with you. Here it is right here. Skilo, I got a job today, but I still love to see and hear you guys trade. I mean, that's hopefully that is still something there. We love, apparently here, Canadians, hey, what's up, Boompa? Canadians love shorting U.S. companies, eh? Yeah, man, we do, eh? I hope you're good with that one. But I love buying U.S. companies as well, with the number one stock today, number 1 and 2 stock today, and maybe 3 stocks today, Oracle. Well, we did short Oracle. That's a U.S. company, so you're right about that. That's the number 2 stock. Number 1 stock's NVIDIA, which is a U.S. company. And number 3 stock today is Apple, which is, again, a big U.S. company. I want to say thank you to Hey Davis right there for commenting on this trade, I guess, with Amazon. And yeah, shit. Does Amazon have good shows? Yes.
Yeah, I think
I don't watch anything on Amazon.
The Boys
but
is really good.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things about some shows on Amazon. I mean, I think it's
Jack Ryan's good. Reacher's good. I mean, I probably can't name.
Fox the Monkey.
I'm saying.
Fox and Monkey?
Huh?
I don't know. Something about monkeys and foxes.
I literally heard him say Fox Monkey is what I heard
that's
Fabian say.
a great show if you haven't seen it yet. I was driving down my street the other day and I was like, yo, Marissa, there's a fox coming straight at you, man. And yeah, there was. Just walking down our street, this really, I don't know if you've ever, foxes in the wild are gorgeous. Like, honestly.
We had one in our backyard
right.
last year.
Yeah, exactly.
They look great and cute.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. I thought it was awesome. Keep your cats inside. if there's some foxes crowding around there. We don't let our cat out. He goes out. William goes out. And just enjoys a little bit of a, little num on the grass and stuff like that as he just chills out, and we watch him and we just chill out together in the back. But there's no way that he's not an outdoor cat. I rescued him where I was rescued from the streets of Brampton. So my cat is from the streets of Brampton because, again, trying to keep it, you know what I'm saying? So returning the favor on that one. So shout out to William the cat. Long live Brampton.
There's a cat in my neighborhood. I don't even know who it belongs to. I see it in my backyard like once a week. It's a black cat. I can't make this up. Like, I'll go out in the morning, and I get up pretty early, so I'm going to my car at like 5-something a.m. in the morning, and I'm seeing this black cat like once a week for the life of me. And I've asked people around the neighborhood, I'm like, whose cat is this? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it could be coming from like halfway across the world for all I know. I'm actually looking at Apple for a dip buy, but I just got that fill up at 47. Average price now 46 on Mara. Remember, I did get 42s, took some out at 35, and then got more at 47. So now my price is 46 on Mara. I know sometimes that can be a little bit confusing, but I have taken a couple of trades in there. It might not be VWAP, but 330 is hit, and Apple is all the way down here at our 2 o'clock bottom. So at 2 o'clock, when we started the show, Apple was 217, and it's trying to hold on to this 217 level as we speak. So this wick low is 216.50. If this bounces off 216.50, I can't think of anything else that's worthy of a dip buy. Longeveron, it's 60 by 61. I'm still in at 63. I've taken one profit take so far on this name. It just seems like it stopped moving. If it just goes sideways for the next 20 minutes, I'll probably just have to get out flat on LGVN.
So I was just scrolling through here on my Instagram, and this is what I'm doing tonight. This is a while ago, but I still coach. So we're doing that tonight. And I used to curl as well, coaching curling. That's me right there, coaching some kids. We still got to get curling around here, that's for sure. What's up to my lovely wife, of course. And this Throwback Thursday, so this is like when I was hiring guys. Neil may be sitting over here. This is what I look like 20 years ago. So there it is, man. This is old. Throwback Thursday, 20 years ago. Notice the colors in the trading. Look at this. Look at the colors. We ain't changing any of that. Look at this gangster mouses right there.
In my head, I'd swear the bridge had a different color. Like, my memory, I thought the bridge was yellow.
We talked about this. You're getting real old.
No, I'll be honest about it. I actually genuinely remember it being yellow. But
you never know. Yeah. Age is a crazy thing. All right, now you're right. I don't remember. We paint everything all crazy around here. But throwback to that one, man. When we had a little bit of hair, anyways. That was that. So that's a fun one. Check me out on Instagram as we go. I was actually looking for there's Fahad, the guy that will beat Neil one day in a race. I just don't know if it'll ever happen. He probably won't. Christmas we could do about this. Man, Fahad is all over my feed. What the hell? All right, so as we go, just some fun there. And shout out to family. And this is another thing that I'm doing tonight. She always looks so badass, but shout out to my daughter here. And she's something else. I was looking for William the cat. I did not find it. We only have 20 minutes left to go right there. There's our big expensive coffee machine as we go. Here's Belle. So this is the cockapoo, but she's really quite special. So there's Belle as well. No William. I will find William. He must be on the Twitter machine.
As you're finding William, Apple bounced off 216.5. It's at 217.5. I just took some profit out. Longeveron's going. But at the green screen, we've got a Dara. I know what color that is over there.
Should be green.
On this sector board, we're actually going to talk about a few names making some outsized moves. One of them to the downside, and there's some interesting names on this list. So let's take a look. We do have Micron here, MU. This one actually getting a nod from Jim Cramer, saying that it can definitely go higher. So Micron here, along with a lot of the other semiconductors, pushing higher, but Micron has this Jim Cramer nod as well. Uber getting not one, but two mentions from CNBC today in a positive light. CEO of Altimeter mentioning this one mentioning this one in the morning. Then in the afternoon, Steve Weiss announcing that he bought Uber. Uber also getting a price target increase from Citigroup. So great look for UBER, up 5.5%. Lots of catalysts to talk about. Last but not least, during the downside, we actually have a price target decrease here from not one, but two analysts for Accenture, ACN. Wedbush and Stifel lowering their price targets for Accenture ahead of its earnings next week. So ACN to the downside, but nice looks for Uber and Micron and lots of outsized moves with catalysts, even as we have all this Fed news, guys.
fast the market's moving. I was in at 216.79 on Apple. I was getting some out at the quarters. I had just put a stop in at break even when it was looking like it was going higher, and it just tanked into the downside. Longeveron's at high of the day here, so as I said, I'm going to hold on a little piece. If it breaks the high, I'm going to hold it. It was also a question, why isn't GameStop halting to the downside? I don't think any of these moves have been fast enough. Like, it has to move. It's not just moving a percentage. It also has to do that within like a 5-minute period. So is a 3-minute chart, and none of these are big enough for an individual halt. So it is possible for something to just go down go down 10%, but as long as it's controlled, it's not going to go into a volatility halt. So GameStop is tanking. If it gets to 26, it's getting a little bit late in the day. I'm not sure if we're going to be into that one. Again, as I said, Longeveron pushing back into the high. If it breaks the top, I'll hold for a break into $2, but I said if it gets to $2, I'm out. I'm actually just going to put an offer at 194 if it gets up there. So LGVN, your short floater of the day.
Short floater. I love that.
I think it's low floater, actually.
Yeah, I was just thinking about floaters. We
God,
talked about, oh man, Hanky the Christmas poo there on South Park.
That was exactly
Man,
where my
so
mind
funny.
went. That
Is it Hanky? It is Hanky, right? Or is
That's
it Hank?
one of my favorite episodes. Oh, good.
Anyways,
love
here's
South
another
Park.
throwback. I just found this. I just want to show. We'll go back to trading in a minute. This is 2020. So this is the desk. We do not have the second set there. There's Brendan. We had some interns back then, and we had different people trading in different spots. It's basically, you could see it's the same floor as we're in right now. It's just the desk extends, and this is where Adara and Sharif are right now. So yeah, just an intern there. So that's Brendan, and I think I remember what her name is. I think her name was Liz. So that's that. And yeah, just a little look at some of the stuff that you may not see every day. Go find it on my Twitter, on my Instagram, at TraderTV. Sean, often imitated. Trust me when I tell you, often imitated. We still get friends of ours that are like, hey, dude, is this you? I'm like, bro, what are you even talking about? All right, so, but never duplicated is what we're getting at. So go check it out right now on Insta, and you can see we have all of this, man. This is all over here. Quite the nice studio for sure. We've had some people visit us. So that's that. Hey, Michael Noss, how you doing? Right there, SMCI, good one there from Michael Noss. Good call on that. Okay. So Amazon, let's get back to trading, as we say. Let's get down to business. And for right now, Amazon is just kind of cruising, right? It's kind of hovering around. There's GameStop, so let's go. GameStop comes in. This is 26. We're waiting for that. There's no money yet. GameStop's breaking lower. Now, I don't know if there's news on this. I haven't heard anything in my ear in a minute, so, but here it comes back in. I'll probably get out if it breaks 20. It's going
into a halt.
This is going to halt down. No, it did not.
No. Whoa,
right.
that shouldn't happen. It's because it's SSR. It wasn't a halt. It's SSR. That's all it is.
Right, they just stacked it. So we just took a 13-cent hit there as it does break through 25s, and there it goes lower and lower and lower.
Okay, now it probably should be halting.
No, the halt is broken. There is something wrong. It should have halted before, I think. I didn't want to interrupt you. It shouldn't move that 10% that long. It's only a $26 name. Like, it only has to move $3. So I thought GameStop right here, 29 down to, well, $3 would be 27. Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know what? Maybe it didn't. Maybe it just hasn't moved that quickly.
Yeah, so
I'm going to get back in.
The thing about it being short sell restricted is if you can't hit the bid, the offer will stack up sometime because people can't hit the bid to go short. So you see the offer stack, and it looks like it's going into a downfall, but it's not.
Yet.
So, like, if it does halt in the last 10 minutes, it won't open up in 5. Any halt that happens after 3:50, the open is at 4 o'clock. That's a hard and fast rule with the market.
Yeah.
So if you don't, just so you know, if you're expecting it to open back up in 5, volatility halts are usually 5 minutes. I'm not going to get into this one.
Thing is, it can run in the after hours.
That's a lot of times the best bounces in the stock happen in the aftermarket. All right.
Like, my earpiece just said power off.
I want to talk to myself. I don't want to catch a falling knife. I think we're pretty fortunate just now. As I said, like on Apple, I just put a break-even stop. Like, look at this. We got a scalp trade in Apple. Went like 50 cents in the money, threw a stop at break-even, moved my stop up to break-even, and then all of a sudden, if you don't have a stop, now my style of trading is what it is. Ooh. Like, I'll take like the paper cut smaller hit, but look at Apple. It just tanked like $3, and thankfully it did so without me getting up break-even. But LGVN just resisted the high. There it is. I said if it broke the high, it'd hold for 194. Now 3 times it gets above 180 and immediately rejects it. So if it can't hold 170, we only have about 15 minutes left in the day. I'm just going to jump out of this one. At some point, I have to get to the desk and set things up for the aftermarket show where we get some AVGO earnings. It would be nice of them to announce a split tonight, although I'm a little skeptical that they will actually do the thing people want.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to announce a split. I mean, everybody always wants that, of course.
They were my call for next thing to split a year ago.
Yeah, I think that.
So,
that's probably,
let's just say that call's been wrong. Like, how many Chipotle split since then? NVIDIA split
stocks
since
don't
then.
split that often, though.
No, it's pretty rare.
You
I just
know.
feel like AVGO, Broadcom's been one since the start of the AI craze. I think people have been asking for that here. GameStop at 25 is awfully appealing.
This just has to go back to 26 and we make it all back, but we've just been basically chasing this thing down and trying to bid it. We got out at 25.50. Now we're long at 25.40s, just against 25. I guess we're not going back to the upside. Is there an early mock on this or something that we can find? No. So GameStop, I mean, it's just getting hit right now. So there it goes, back down through 25. We saw, what was it, Andrew left and all that, sort of talked about with Citron having a short going through. We're long at 30s, and look at that size right there. That's not even that much. That's 50,000 shares plus dark pools in at 25. So that's going to get taken out. This has done 130 million shares, by the way. So I feel silly. We could have just punched short when that 26 didn't hold, but we're only down $1 from the level that we liked. So although it looks like we are taking some hits here, but they're not like dramatic hits by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, it keeps breaking. So I'm holding and it's breaking. I'm holding and it's breaking. Just try to look for something to do, and that's not a great thing. So let's stick with it. Amazon's moving around. Like now it's trying to hold this bid, right? But every time it goes, it starts to like scale up, and then it just falls right back down. So like right there, you see now people are buying it, so it gets marketed up, and then it stops, and then it falls again. So that's just multiple times that just happened right there on GME. So I feel like there's buyers here at 25 for sure, but every time they try, the sellers are definitely outnumbering them, at least for now. Look at these sell candles here. Look at these sell candles. We have one buy, and that was probably what we just saw, and that's what got me long, but that did not last. So it looks like they're not able to win, unfortunately, the longs today. But that 25 just held again. Like, see what I'm going to do? I'm going to get caught here paying for highs again on GameStop when it's probably just going to fall back into 25. Let's just see what winds up happening right now on GameStop. It looks like it is trying to get that bounce back through. There it goes, upside through 25, 26. So let's just see. You don't have to get back to positive, but maybe GameStop does want to go, and I don't mean on the stock. That's down 15%. But we just saw a lot of volume go through up there, or down there, sorry. Nice move back through 26. There goes GameStop.
Yeah, I waited for it to get back through that 25, and it's going to fail 26 immediately. Come on. No, let's give it a chance. I'm going to give it to 25. I was about to say if it fails 26, I'm going to get out. I'm giving it 25.50. There was a good question. Someone in the chat was like, it's manipulation when it doesn't halt, when it should, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. All we're simply telling you is just from our experience, when we usually see, there was a halt off the open the other day that felt like it didn't go anywhere. And then there's been a couple where it felt like it moved enough and it didn't halt. That's all anecdotal. I'm not going to put a tinfoil hat on. It's just from our observation, watching stocks time and time again. I think at the open, maybe it was last week, it moved like it was like $1.20. It was like nothing. It was, whatever. It felt like it moved like 2% at the open one day and halted instantly. And it made absolutely no sense. It was an up halt right off the bat. I'm like, that was way too fast. I remember missing the bid because it wasn't far enough. But that's all anecdotal. So I just grabbed 25s. My stop is now going to be 25.50. I actually tried to get 25.15, didn't get it. Chased it up here a little bit to the 31 level, and then we'll see what happens. I don't want to cancel the offer. I'm going to get out if it gets to 26.30 or so, because 26 was a big level yesterday. It was probably the biggest level yesterday was 26. So if it can't, there it is. I just trailed out. I just trailed out 25.40s on this one. I was just saying 26 can't break. If it's big support early, it might turn into resistance here. So we'll get a little bit back on GameStop. But wild action, no halt for it apparently. And remember, if it halts after 3:50 in the next 2 minutes, it is a 4 o'clock open. That's how the market works. So just be locked and loaded and ready for it. I'm willing to bet AMC gave you that $5 short. Yeah, it gave you the $5 short, but it's not really moving much. You get 10 cents out of AMC off $5. I mean, you get it, but it's just not that good.
Yeah, like we are long now at 40s here on GameStop or 37s, and it just went 50 cents in the money. We didn't take it, right? So there's like, you just got to play this name back and forth. I'm going to give it a little bit more room through 25. I'm just getting exhausted with it here. It's been quite the day, as you guys have seen us talk over and over about some of these different names. I just hope that you've enjoyed the show. We did get a 0 rate move today, so that was kind of as expected. We're still holding 20% of Amazon, and that looks a little silly as it's starting to go back up to the upside right there. We should have just taken it all out at 86, but I have these targets, and we talk about being a support and resistance. I need to add like Fibonacci's or something to this plan because that move down there, I don't know how far it retraced back, but you see, like, we always talk about this. If we get moves back into the 50 period, that's pretty much always an out for me of at least, I mean, a certain part of the shares, depends on how many we have, but I try to get out of like 25% in and around there. We were a little bit more aggressive with our outs here on Amazon because I wasn't sure if it was going to hold 187, and then when it did, we were able to get 70, or when it didn't, we got 75s, and then we got 60s, and then we got 31s. So that was the dollar club down there, but now it looks like it's coming right back to the fact that right now we are flat just on this part of the stock. Right now, our stop was 187.60. So let's, again, heading into the imbalances, let's not get too crazy. I'm not going to add to this. Our stop is 30 cents higher, but we did get that move back in on Amazon, and that was a good one back to the downside. So, yeah, here we go. Just a matter of seconds now until these update, and then we'll get that result, and then Neil will just spit some fire, and then he'll go back up and get ready for the... No, but I don't know if do you have positions? No, you don't.
NVIDIA 2.2 million to the sell side. I have never seen NVIDIA outside of an imbalance on like end of month or quarter. 2.2 million sell on NVIDIA, 1.3 million sell on Apple, 1.2 million sell on Amazon, 900,000 sell Tesla, 800,000 sell Microsoft. This is going to obviously be a big red number on the overall imbalance. If you care about Cisco, that's also a sell imbalance. I've pretty much said all the big names anyways. The only thing we didn't see, I didn't see Alphabet there out of the big cap, or Microsoft, but Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA, although NVIDIA just paired off 700,000 of that. The total paired volume on NVIDIA is 10 million into that, what was a 2 million imbalance. Now it's a 1 million imbalance, whereas Apple's a 3 million paired volume into 1.2. So some big sells. Overall, the SPY's 2.2 billion to sell. Not gonna lie, I kind of expected a bit more than that based on those numbers that we just saw. But 2.2 billion to sell isn't small. The market seems to not care because it's kind of bouncing a little bit here. Go figure.
Get Roaring Kitty on the phone immediately. We are now $1 in the money on GameStop as that goes right back up to the upside. So we said that we weren't done this, man, and GameStop upside right now. We did see that strength at 25. So Neil had that. Now we're going to wait to see if it continues higher. Right now, that is GME. We're long at 25.37. It's at 26.16 right now. So it's not quite $1. It's 80 cents, but hopefully we can break a little bit. I did not see GameStop on here. But doesn't mean that it's not somewhere. But again, this is just a late minute move back up to the upside because we've said this before, trading GME into the close, and it has that opportunity to get going after hours, and that did happen yesterday. There's the close rates here on GameStop, and then I guess by the time 611 was there, we were down about 30 or 40 cents, and then I just remember it just starting to tick up, and everybody in the chat was like, there goes GameStop. So we'll wait to see, maybe 27. It's only 352 right now. I say that because this is where the 50 period is, 27.50. So if we can get 27 and change, I think on GameStop, we're doing pretty good. But
NVIDIA is insane. NVIDIA fully paired that off almost instantly.
Oh, so it's ripping up
now?
It
came out 2.2 million. You saw live, it went from 2.2 million to 1.5 million to 1.1 million to sell in the first 30 seconds after the imbalance. It's now fully paired. Like, they've paired the entire thing off. So basically, long story short, the market or people buying in the market saw a sell imbalance to be able to take shares in NVIDIA, and they just bought this up without even waiting for the auction. So they just said, okay, whatever, we'll buy it, and then the programs reacted to that by buying as well. At 355 is still a decent pair event. which does matter, but NVIDIA's already paired it off. I just saw Microsoft pop up to now 800,000 sell. Tesla's still a sell imbalance of 900,000, and Apple is still 1.5 million to the sell side. So Apple still has a big sell on it. NVIDIA, what a reversal. If you're really, really quick, when you see it pair off, you could probably punch long, but that is an algo-driven trade. They're piped right into that feed, and when they see it go from 2 to 1, they're already buying it up. Really difficult for a human trader to get that.
Yeah, we are almost wrapping it up, man. It's 3:53 right now. We're just waiting for that fill to come in on Amazon. It did dip in to O's, and then it just bounced back up. So oopsies. So we're going to sit here right now at 187. There's the dip right there. Oh, actually, we must have not. We didn't put our fill there at the very beginning. Neil mentioned that it was millions of shares there to the downside. I didn't get to see it, but there's a lot of paired off action here. So
it was huge, yeah.
Yeah. So, on that pair off.
Wow.
What now?
Bitcoin tanked.
Yeah, it's 67.5. I mean, Bitcoin does not like a negative NASDAQ. So that's not good for many of us that are holding Bitcoin, and GameStop's pulling back as well. GameStop got to 26. We had indicated that 26 was a pretty key level there today. Oh, there it is. Let's go, man. A little face slapper right there for Amazon as that just came in. So we just get our 04 fill on that. So now we only have less than that 10% left of this trade. We'll see if it wants to work out for us. That's Amazon. We might as well just get out of GME possibly here. It just stopped at 26. My offer, we have to be flat at the end of every day. So I could still be in this for a little bit past 4 o'clock, but not much. Get down, Amazon. I put it at 26.50 and it went to 26.35. So we're a little bit away from taking that $1.20 or so. It did go $1, but we're not doing dollar club on that. We don't really care. We're just waiting to see for an explosion. If Amazon works, it works. Let's check out Apple. Wow, Apple is getting killed right now. Apple is down to 213, and as Neil mentioned
before,
still a seller balance. Yeah, talk about this trade. To get out of that long right there for flat while still banking on that. Unbelievable move down there for Apple. We'll put Apple on our radar tomorrow. Maybe for the first time in a couple days, obviously, we will be looking short on Apple tomorrow. But I'll make that decision when we get here tomorrow.
Before I move to the desk.
Yeah, there goes GameStop
It's
again.
still over $1 million, 1.3 million to sell on Apple, even after 355. And Penn showed up out of nowhere for $1 million to buy. But I'm going to mosey on over to the desk there. Big move in Bitcoin to the downside. The 70,000 failure is a bit of something. You got to watch out for that Mara. Watch out for Coinbase. I know tomorrow will be all over some of these names, but what a fun afternoon. Yeah. I'll see you guys at the desk for the market recap where hopefully Broadcom does a split so I can stop talking about it.
All right, let's do good luck pound there for Broadcom.
Good luck.
So we'll do that because I think that a lot of the chip names right now, they don't have much to go on because remember we talked about, I don't know if GameStop is going to go. Chips now, I feel like the biggest tailwind that was there, and we talked about this for NVIDIA, was just the split. Because we're through earnings now, and it's just now where does NVIDIA go? Still up 4%. So look, like the name, and still think there's more to go. But NVIDIA is my number one stock. We'll see if we can trade that tomorrow again. But at the end of the day, it's holding the bid. This is not holding the bid. So Apple giving it back, still up that 3%, but is 220 something? We talked about that. A big key level coming into play today, 220 for Apple. Look, man, its 2-day move is like 10%. So when you're $3 trillion, that's $300 billion added back to the stock in just the last couple of days. So do we like Apple? Yes. Is it potentially overheated? Yes. Both can be true there for Apple. With only 2 minutes left now, and we talked about having to be out of our positions, let's just wait to see what happens with GameStop. I'm still trying to hope for a higher high, but maybe 26 is all that we're going to get. I'm actually going to cancel my 26.50. I chugged that water too fast. And we'll put a 26 now. I'm not going to give 50 cents. Hopefully we can get back to the upside and print us at the close in and around that 26. With only a couple more minutes to go, I just hope everybody enjoyed it today, man. I don't even know how I'm going to hold this voice here, but we'll try to do that. And, I wanted to check. The worst thing is when you're coaching Little League, by the way, is when all of a sudden, because I take pride in setting the lineup, is that you know, when you get like a late cancellation, I'll snap right here online. Okay, good. We do not have that there today. But, you know, sometimes you get parents will message you, and it's fine if your kid is sick or the kid got hurt or something and is unable to play. And the problem with that is that I have 14 kids on the roster, and you only field 9, so you got to sit 5. That's a lot. So every kid sits twice, and it's just a matter of making sure that's fair, that everybody gets their little look there. So, yeah, that's my problem, not no one else's, but that's just what I'm thinking. All right, there goes GameStop into the close. Oh, we still have Amazon. Let's just cancel all these trades. Now, I'm not used to sitting here at the close. All right, we'll get Amazon out here at 16s if we can. Hopefully we will. We just push bid enter. Hopefully that comes out with only 2 minutes to go. Amazon, a good short. Not good there, but good there. We'll be roughly flat on Amazon, but at least we're able to make back some of what we lost there on that one. And then GameStop just goes right back to flat. That sucks. A break back down below 25 and we'll get out. It looks like it just wants to go lower here on Amazon, or sorry, here on GameStop. So hopefully into the close we get a little bit of a move, but with only a minute left. There's our Amazon fill, so that's a little bit of a face slapper to end the day on that one. But yeah, so far so good here. Market almost closed. I do not want to forget the countdown here, so we will ring that in just 30 seconds. We'll see Adara. Oh, Amazon goes down. We just got out at 187 and change. Let's go over to GameStop. Really, man? Watch this thing just absolutely fly there at the end of the day. I'm going to put something up near 26. Maybe we get a last-second fill. Otherwise, we'll probably be punching out on the downside here of GameStop on an early move. So with only now 15 seconds left, I do have the countdown on the board, and I see she's ready to rock and roll. So let's hit it right now. Now we're counting it down to what a big day it was. We talked about the NASDAQ hitting some of these highs with only 3, 2, 1. Beneath. All right, do not tell compliance. I still do have GameStop shares. Let's see what happens here. And Brankles, don't worry about Brankles. I'll get out very, very soon. As we see a move here in GameStop, let's just see if there is one last second little jolt up. We are still 10 cents in the money on that one. But let's find out where Apple closed. I'm not going to wait too long because I know Broadcom's on people's minds. Right there, 213 and change for Apple. We'll see if that holds out. NVDA at the end of the day, basically flat, up 3.75%. Good afternoon for NVIDIA, but kind of quiet right there. Oracle breaks above 140, so let's go on that one. I think that's a big trade to look at there. What are the trades for tomorrow? Come on, GameStop. Come on, GameStop. I got to get out. Come on, GameStop. We're waiting for 90s right now. We thought that there could be a little bit of a move up here, so we get a little tricky with it. Let's see if GameStop can print us here in the after hours, something that we're not necessarily supposed to do. So let's go GameStop 25 and change, trying to go higher here into the close. Incorrigible. Good word. Thanks for trading. Thank you, Hey Davis. And Hey Davis to you as well. I hope you come back tomorrow. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. My earpiece is gone, so if they're ready, I don't know. I'm not going to look up Broadcom, but here we go, guys. We had waited for GameStop. Let's just offer this out here in the after hours. There we go. We get out 74s. Sound a siren there for a little bit of a 40-cent win there into that, holding it into the close. So thank you so much again for the big day. The market recap show is now, Ramin, thumbs up. I know Fabian's over there. Okay, we're ready to go. So, all right, Neil's on the 1s and 2s, which is a good thing with Adara. So get it over there. Let's see if Broadcom can help the broader market today. Get it with the recap show. Thanks again for watching.
Let's get it done here at Dara. Yeah, on the 1s and 2s today for the market recap show. It's hilarious because my high school buddies call me DJ, despite the fact that I have zero experience playing or making music of any fashion. I have no idea where it came from. But the story today, Adara, the Fed moving the markets up, and then the huge move back in right at the end of the day. Apple, $7 get pulled back. That is a 3% move on the strongest stock the last couple of days here. Apple making dreams come true. If you were short this one at the high, I'm not going to pretend that I was. But overall, let's be real about things for a second here, Adara. A lot was green today. You've got uranium up 3%. You've got obviously SMH is going to be up 3%. KRE does 2.5. IWM, so the Russell's up 1.5 points today. XBI. You just go down that list. I feel like every time I'm on here, wheat is down. So by the way, if I do the market recap show and you're in a long-term position or a short-term position in wheat, sell wheat. I feel like every time I look at this board, I see wheat is having a rough day. And I'm also noting UNG is to the downside. For anyone that is watching our trades of the week, remember I said if I was in that Tellurian in my personal, I'd have taken the money and ran when it got to like 95 cents. That's close enough to $1.
Yeah.
But Adara, wow, what a day. We're expecting to get Broadcom a little bit later on, but the first one's actually going to be Dave & Buster's.
It is.
Which you've never even been to.
I've never even been to Dave & Buster's, I know. How dare I? You know, I think we'll have to see if this one plays nicely with the longs coming up into here, because we are expecting that at 405 from what I am seeing. I think I appreciate the bang button for that. Yeah, we're seeing a pretty decent expected moves on both of these. I'm just going to get these numbers. So for Broadcom, we have an expected move 6.4%. Dave & Buster's 12.3%. So I think both of these could be really, really interesting names to look at. I know last time Dave & Buster's had a nice little move, so.
Yeah, and look, Dave & Buster's is an 18% short flow for those that are wondering, why does it have such a big expected move? Because it's a heavily shorted stock, and it's in an upward trend. We hear all the time where our guests will talk about, is a shorted stock a potential for a squeeze? Well, if you're not in an upward trend, then what's the reason why anyone wants to get out of it? It's up 5% going into it today, just to give you the lay of the land. And on the daily, it's trying to bounce off the 200-period moving average. So it was in a deep upward trend. It needs to break something out here today for it to get exciting. Good day for it today, up 4%. A lot of things were up today. But if you're looking at what might be the most interesting thing, okay, I know everyone's talking about NVIDIA, and we talk about way too much. We talk about chip names for good reason.
Yeah.
Because that's where the bread is getting buttered in here today. You know, you look at the SMH and you're asking yourself, what slowdown? Did Powell do anything to this today? Nope. How's about nope-ish? It doesn't matter that Apple pulled back $3 because that ain't in the SMH. NVIDIA held pretty strong today. AMD did not have a very good day, but this trend is completely unbroken. I know you can feel like you're getting a little bit stretched here, but I looked at ARM, which isn't even in most of the major indexes. This closed up 8% and held the highs. There's some seriously strong names out there. Micron in the midst of a breakout and holding above those highs. The only thing it's a dog is Intel, which I'm not going to bother showing to you because you guys all know that Intel sucks. So the big winner and the big mover is that SMH. What's interesting about uranium is I put this up on a weekly, and I remember the last time I was talking with Mike and a couple of others, I was like, if this can hold above 33 on a weekly basis, I liked it for a breakout. It just never did. And the good thing about something not breaking above, which is closing on the weekly above 33, would be now it's in a bit of a dip buy. You guys can imagine the steep trend line that it's holding. I think the 50 period's giving it to you on URA here. It would bounce off the 28 level if that's the case. So I think it's getting into a dip zone where you can have a bit of a trade here in uranium if it's not going to take that breakout. If I use a weekly chart, then you have to close above the break. It's not on a day trade, it just has to tick above. But if you're swing trading or anything like that, on a weekly, you need it to actually close above that level on the weekly chart, open up there on the Monday, and then you'd look for that long, something we talk about here a lot. So we don't have any earnings out just yet.
We actually do have Dave & Buster's.
Oh, it is out already.
These numbers are still like trickling through here. We had a beat for adjusted EBIT, so it came in higher than expected here. We're getting one, let me find this. So this is okay, adjusted number here. Sorry, give me a second. These numbers changed. Adjusted EBIT, 183.1 million versus expected of 122.7 million. So that is going to be higher than expected here. For their quarterly net income, $1.12 per share. What I'm seeing is the estimate was 156, so that is going to be a pretty massive miss.
Oops.
Oops. Yeah, they I guess weren't playing nice here. I'm not seeing their revenue yet here, though. Oh, sorry, but the quarterly store sales decreased by 5.6% year over year, and their revenue decreased by 1.5% year over year. None of these numbers are good.
Yeah, that is a swing and a miss, like me swinging at change-ups. Any pitcher with a good changeup, that should just be illegal. Throw a fastball, throw a curveball, throw a slider, and keep it simple for me when I play, because changeups are absolutely unfair when someone has a good one. You're down now. Look, you're down 6%. That's from previous close. You're down over 10% on this move. The stock was at $50. Now it's at $44.30. So you are getting a big retracement on Dave & Buster's. I know it's going to sit there and say 5-6%. It was up that much going into it. So a host of misses. I think that same-store sales miss is going to be a big one. That's an important metric for them. Under pressure, you know what I was cheering for? I would much rather a stock with an 18% short float go up. But you know what can come into play tomorrow? SSR. If it's going to go down 10% from previous close and have an 18% short float, there is always a chance that we can get an SSR bounce tomorrow. So there's always something to watch here, but it's looking pretty nasty here for Dave & Buster's. I'm going to give you back to the daily chart here just so you get an idea of where it is. It's broken through support. That was at $46. Pretty key level. There's nothing, I mean literally nothing of significance on this until it gets to the $40 level and then maybe the $38 level. So it's going to be a tricky one. If it's trading here in the middle of nowhere at 42 bucks, even down 10%, I don't know if I'm going to like that SSR trade. 40 bucks, 38. I don't mind digging into those. I always want that SSR bounce to have something, another reason behind it. Like, just give me a big even dollar level. Give me a place people were buying it in the past. Give me a moving average, something for confluence. And then I don't mind stepping in front of that sword when a stock is down 10%. But if it's got nothing else going for it, I'd hate to be fighting that trend on Dave & Buster's. One thing that's I think will be interesting for you as you're in your journey on trading is every now and then throwing in one of these names that you're not as familiar with, watching the tape on earnings when it's really moving, watching the tape when a stock is SSR is pretty valuable. It's a different type of movement when the uptick rule is in effect and you can't hit that bid. You will learn something about the price action, especially when that offer stacks up. So I think it'll be useful for you maybe to watch some play, watch some GameStop as well, which is going to be SSR tomorrow.
Thank you.
Still no Broadcom. We're expecting them at 4:15.
4:15, yeah.
So we got about 5 minutes. We might actually be on with Tammy when they come out because we're excited to be able to talk to the Fibonacci princess. Speaking of which, I don't even need an earpiece. I got a button and I can hear Ramin, so you know what time it is. We got the Fibonacci princess for Trader Talk, and glad to see you again, Tammy. Welcome. It's been an absolutely insane week where Apple has gone haywire and turned into like NVIDIA or some kind of a meme stock the way that it's moving. We get the NVIDIA split. Obviously, we had the Fed today, which was looking fantastic, and then things took a little bit of a turn. So there's a lot to get to. You've had meme stocks going crazy. A lot for us to discuss. But first off, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Neil?
As you can tell, I'm in a good mood. It was a good day of trade. It could have always been better. I probably got as fortunate as you can get trading Apple this afternoon because I had the break 3 times through the high of the day. I had a dip buy down into like 216.5 that I got out break even on. Went to look at another stock, came back to it, and it was $3 lower. I'm like, oh, that was pretty good to get out there. Every now and then, the best trade you make is the one that you get out for a small hit. So I'm pretty happy with that. So it could have been a disaster for me.
Absolutely. Take the money and run, right?
That's the name of the game. That's what we try to do here. So, look, what have you been up to this last little bit? As I said, it's been an absolutely insane and wild week. If you're a technical trader, this kind of price action gives you a lot of juice and a lot of things to maybe analyze. You get into new price areas, a lot of 52-week high breaks. I mean, so many that I can't even count them, to be honest with you. So what's been the top of your mind here, Tammy?
Well, you know, in my room, actually, live, I give 8 charts that I analyze all day. And those are the futures for SPX cash and NASDAQ cash, which are ES and NQ. And then I also live do Apple, Tesla, Amazon, and NVIDIA. So with the split this week with NVIDIA, it's been interesting. I had to go down to a 10-minute chart in order to be able to get those new moves with that price action. But the daily fixed itself pretty quickly, so that was good. But with Apple, I just could not believe this jump we've gotten this week. It's been amazing. I've had a lot of clients take some great profits. And, you know, I also give 30-minute charts live. And this is a great example of, you know, an entry that I gave. Let's see, when was that? Yesterday, around 12:30. we had a little pullback into symmetry there into that 203 area and held and continued that move up. I mean, almost straight up from there, right? We had a little pullback this morning and then continued that move up. We also had that set up live in the room, met both of those targets on the upside, and then is when we finally failed around that 220 area. Tell you, if you're looking at a daily chart, we were starting to get very extended on the daily. So this morning I was telling my clients, you know, you really need to trail up those stops if you're bullish, because this larger swing that you know, we failed from in December and bounced on the 19th of April. We had met the first target already off of that one around 209. So I was saying, hey, if you're going to get in, just be sure that you trail those stops up and make sure that you lock in those profits and you don't get yourself in trouble in case we do have a big pullback. And this big pullback is what I've been looking for, because I wanted us to get through quite a bit of price resistance before I was interested in Apple again. So now that I've got all the moving averages on the side of the bulls, we are finally getting a nice price action pullback here. I'm interested in Apple now.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's a lot of fun is like a stock can basically change its mood, for lack of a better term, right? Like Apple can go from being, you know, steady Eddie and not really the most volatile. It flips a switch and suddenly you're getting wild breakouts, 5-10% moves, when normally like 1.5% would be a good day for Apple. Just you mentioned something that you're cautioning some people in your room to make sure they take those profits. When you see a move like that, it's really easy to just say, oh my goodness, that's so big. You couldn't, like, it took a month to see that kind of move. You've got it in 2 days, and you get that deep in the money. You're like, yes, this is going to go to 240, 250. Let it ride. You know, what's that one thing that maybe holds you back into reality? I know you've got your levels out there, and that's what matters the most. But what do you tell people that get that exuberance and then suddenly start getting the massive dollar signs in there instead of wanting to follow the plan? Because I know that can be a very difficult thing. When a stock accelerates and you're in the money, sometimes just that irrationality or that exuberance gets the best of you. What do you tell people to caution?
FOMO. Missing out.
That's it. FOMO. There it is. I'm just sitting there like, what's the word I'm looking for?
You know, you've just got to stick to your plan. And that's why I like to look at lower time frame charts, because, you know, if I look at this 30-minute chart, I mean, we are having a pullback now that is daily worthy. So the great news is I'll be able to set this up on the daily, and I'll just look at some of these previous swings that we've had here and get my setup zone from that. And if we go a little too low here, then it's going to be a cautionary, a caution for me. What I'm looking for is some of these similar pullbacks that we've had here in Apple, and I want a lot of those swings to kind of line up. And then I'm going to have my setup zone and just wait for my indicators to tell me that that zone is holding. And then, I'm going to take it from there. And if it comes back and it takes out that setup zone, I mean, right now, what I see that I'm liking is that 203 to 206 or so area. If we can get down into that, and if it takes out my setup zone, then you know what, I just get out and say, hey, this could make a deeper downside correction, and this could start looking not as good anymore. But I'm pretty
not to cut you off.
The way I'm feeling right now is that this thing's going to keep on going because it looks so much better now, and it's cleared all of the symmetrical resistance of this swing up. So it is a bullish setup now. Now, the other thing you want to do when you're trading something like Apple is you want to pay attention to what's going on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is also very extended. So be sure to pay attention to those kind of things. I do have some timing coming in around late July, August that we could end up, having a bigger pullback. So just be aware of what's going on, not just with the stock you're trading, but with the overall market.
And speaking of the overall market there, Tammy, as you were talking, AVGO just did an Apple, which is, they finally, look, Dara's going to have the numbers, and she'll give you the numbers. AVGO is going to split. So I can stop talking about it and just can start celebrating the fact that this is finally going to do a split. I've been saying it for a year that Broadcom needs to do a split. Dara, please give us the numbers. They just reported, and they're up 10% as we speak.
I would love to give you guys these numbers. These are insane. So we did have Basically, emphasis that all these Q2 results have been driven by AI, just to clarify. So this is obviously not bad in addition to the great numbers we're going to get. They did post a record $3.1 billion of their revenue being from AI. I know they wanted to get to $10 billion in AI revenue for 2024. So, I mean, that's not a bad look at all for fiscal Q2, right? In terms of the numbers themselves here, we did get a revenue beat that came in at 12.487 billion versus estimate of 12.028 billion. That's not even a small beat. That's like an NVIDIA kind of beat. We also had, sorry guys, I'm really excited here. We got earnings per share as well, $10.96 versus the estimate of $10.80. Also going to be a beat. And then of course we have that stock split. So the split here going to be a 10-to-1 split. I guess, you know, taking a page out of NVIDIA's book here. They're going to start trading post-split in just over a month here. July 15th, that is when they're going to start trading on a post-split basis. July 15th, I have no words.
Well, I got the first thing that came to my mind is Sean better not actually have that jury duty in the middle of July because AVGO is finally going to split.
Wait, that's not
so I think it was the 17th. Tammy, Sean mentioned today he might have to do jury duty, which is never fun for a trader. I hope you've never had to do it. You don't want to miss that time, and they don't really. They don't care about the fact if you have like a commission income from trading. They're like, yeah, whatever, that's not good enough.
Nope,
you're not a
they
cop.
don't
You're not
care.
something like those lines. So you have to
Most
make
people
stuff
don't
up.
care, to be honest with you. That's the problem. Is most people are, they can be a little brutal when it comes to understanding what we do on the stock market. I love how my phone always rings at like 9:32, of course, because I'm Eastern time zone. You know, I'm like,
Yes.
I've told people over and over again.
Don't call it the open. The only person where I will look at my phone if they call me at the open or the close is if I see my mom, because I know if that's the case, she knows better. No, she knows better than that too. It's like if something has happened, that's the call that I need to pay attention to. My pop's probably like whatever, he wouldn't say a word. But I hate to put you on the spot here, but you mentioned about NVIDIA being a little bit tricky after the split. What's your approach here? So we have 1 month to sort of figure this one out with technical, but you had said there with NVIDIA that you had to maybe jig some of your technicals because of that split. Now I know a lot of split adjusted charts. It's easy for most of us moving averages. When it's a 1 to 10, if I'm looking at key price levels, I don't have to worry about anything because a 1200 level is just $120. And I can just go off support and resistance pretty easily. So what changes for you, if anything? I know Broadcom is going to get heavily traded 1 month from now. For a lot of people that are watching that are not touching it with a 10-foot pole, they're now trading a lot of NVIDIA. They're going to be trading a lot of Broadcom. What do you say to your traders?
Well, I will tell you this, that, my husband has been trading for over, 35 years now. And, going into a split can be a lot of fun, but after a split, it can be a little dull for a little while sometimes. I'm not saying that necessarily is going to happen with the NVIDIA because it is the big boy right now, right? And everybody's loving it. But I'm still following it live on my charts. But like as an example, I have to use these line bars in order to do my work. And so when it first split the other day, you can see it goes from all the way up there to all the way down here. But this is why I've been using a 10-minute chart, is because then I'm able to widen it out and I'm able to get some swings and data here to use. On a daily, it did fine. I was able to show support on Monday. And then, of course, we're coming up to the targets at 127 and 130. But, I just would expect it to trade a little bit slower now. I mean, you're not going to get these super fast movements when you go from having such a small amount of stocks to, such a small amount of shares to a huge amount of shares, 10 times the amount. So, I think it's fine to trade it, but, those movers and shakers are where it's at, and AVGO could be one of those into its split. I will tell you on AVGO, we are getting very extended here, but NVIDIA didn't seem to care about that because I kept saying, we're extended on NVIDIA, trail those stops, lock in that profit, and we just kept going and going. So that could be the same thing with Broadcom until we do move into that split.
Yeah, I've seen some weird things on NVIDIA. Just today, I was noting in the live show at 350, the imbalances came out. It was the largest sell imbalance. It got paired off like super. It was like 30 seconds. It was paired off from 2 million to 1 million. The imbalance was gone 30 seconds later. Like it was just the auction orders just flew into it. The second it was a 2 million sell, it's like they just started jamming buy orders in. Meanwhile, Apple was $1 million to sell and it tanked $7 into the downside, and it actually grew into a sell and bounce. NVIDIA is just a different beast, which makes it a lot of fun. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the meme stocks here, because I've heard a lot of technical traders say this. When it comes to ridiculous short flow, things like GameStop, where like the logic doesn't always have to make any sense. Roaring Kitty's out here doing live streams, stocks halting all over the place. It can be difficult to find technicals or trade it technically, whereas maybe you just want to be tape reading or reacting to the latest tweet. Is there anything for you here? Do you find you have an edge that you can use your technicals on? Or do you tell your traders to stay away from it? Just very curious, because I've heard other technical traders say they don't necessarily love the meme names, where I think as a day trader, when they're moving, they're fantastic.
Well, I mean, I think you just have to figure out what works for you. You know, I was talking to somebody about that earlier today, and you know, becoming a great successful trader is like building your own personal puzzle, and there are going to be a lot of different puzzle pieces that make up your puzzle, and you have to figure out whether or not this is part of what you want to do. Is this your way to trade? You know, is this what you want to do? Is this what you like looking at? Is this what you like reading about? And if that's the case, then hey, go for it, right? I'll tell you one thing that I saw on GameStop, because I do have clients that ask for it, because I do chart request also in my service, in mine and Carolyn wrote in the Fibonacci Queen service, or Queen of Fibs, I should say. I noticed when we did this low to high, we bounced off of that 786 here. And I was thinking to myself, if we go through that 786 at 2258, then we're going to make a deeper downside correction, maybe take out the 24th of May low. Well, we bounced, we came up to this 618, we failed. Look at us, we're back at a 786 again. Okay, so what's giving me a little bit of a caution is the fact that we came up to this between that 382 and 50%, and we failed. Looks like we're going to come back and retest that 786. To me, around 24 is going to be your risk. So if I would put a stop underneath that, and if we go below that, I would start getting a little bit caution. Now, the only thing that I would say to kind of say, well, this could make a little bit of a difference, is just that we've got this 50 and 200 moving day averages down here. Those are simple moving averages, and you can always bounce from those. But if I was trading GameStop, which I am not, it looks like it bounced from 22.79, which is just below that 786. And sometimes you do go through it just a little bit. I mean, that would kind of be my area, maybe around 22, 23. You know, after that, I would just be like, this isn't working anymore. And we could either retest the 24th of May low or actually take it out.
Yeah, I agree with you on that front about like where the stops tend to be. I always find like the things like GameStop or these like meme names or whatever you're calling them, squeeze type names. If you have a price area, other stocks are going to respect them a little bit better. You better have a wider stop than the actual line that you're dealing with. Like like if you like a 23 and a half, you don't want to necessarily put a stop out there like 23.39 or something like that. Like a lot of times, it's going to have to really travel through that because it's just moving more, as is exemplified. If it's going to go $5, $10 to the upside and have 50% days and 70% days, it's really hard to trade on a swing basis with a really, really tight stop. Now, day traders, you can get away with it because I can just get out and just get back in again if I like it 50 cents lower. Or if you swing trade, you get one shot at it. Sometimes you have to give it more room, which I don't think is for everybody, and that's an important thing. If you're used to having on a swing basis, I don't want to hold it an extra 10% against me, maybe GameStop isn't for you. But I'm glad you're able to find some levels. A little bit better than the analysis that you're going to get from a certain kitten. Roaring Kitty, who I'm hoping, I don't know if you listened to the live stream that he had, but watching the stock halt down while the person holding 5 million shares and 12 million in calls was laughing about it, I can only imagine what it must be like to have like your net value, like the value of his position went from like $1 billion to cut in half, and he was just the most relaxed person you'll ever see. I promise you, that would not be me. There's no chance I'm losing that much.
You know, it's funny. I have not watched it. I did see a picture of him where he was wearing like a business suit in front of the computer, and I kind of thought, you know, this guy does seem like quite the entertainer. So I don't know. I haven't watched him yet. Maybe I need to. You know, I'm really busy normally just running charts and trying to keep up with the market.
Stick to what you do. Look, it's good entertainment for us. As a day trader, we're in and out, so we have those moments to do it. But I think if you're like a swing trader, you didn't need to be listening to that call. You know, you can trade the price actions and stick to your charts, which is what I love about having you on here, because we get to expose our viewers to a different sort of subset. To swing trading, to finding some technicals on the Fibonacci's, which you do a fantastic job of. So tell everybody where they can find you, first and foremost, and thank you for coming on again.
I'm the Fibonacci Princess. I help you define your risk by giving you defined setup zones. And I'm at Elliott Wave Trader. I work with Carolyn Broden, the Queen of Fibs. I'm on Twitter at TraderTammy1.
Thank you very much there, Tammy. The Fibonacci Princess, thank you so much for coming through. Look forward to talking to you in the future, because I get to do like Wednesdays and Thursdays, so I think we're going to be talking a lot on this market recap show. So thank you for coming through. Have a fantastic day.
Awesome. It's always so great talking to you, Neil. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Take care.
I still get Ramin reminding me to hit the button because I have no idea what I'm doing up here. But before we get on to the roll call here, can you let's go over those numbers for Broadcom again, because they're so good we should hear them twice.
We really should. Yeah, sorry for speeding through those last time, guys. There are a lot of numbers. They're all in one row. Trying to do the best I can here. I appreciate everyone's patience here. So Q2 revenue, they're all going to be a beat, just fair warning. But Q2 revenue was a beat. Did come in here, $12.487 billion versus the estimate of $12.028 billion. So hearty beat as well, beat by almost half a billion dollars. And then earnings per share, also a beat, $10.96 versus the estimate of $10.80. Then worth noting as well for their revenue, $3.1 billion of their revenue came from AI. That is a record for them in terms of portion of the revenue coming from AI. Also worth noting, because I know CEO Hawk Tan was saying that their goal is to have $10 billion of their revenue come from AI for 2024. So we're in Q2 2024, $3.1 billion in one quarter alone is not a bad look. Also, last but not least, they did announce a 10-for-1 stock split that will be effective on a trading basis as of July 15th. So in just over a month.
And we'll be excited for that. Tomorrow it's still going to be a $1,600 stock with a ridiculous spread, so I can't promise you that Sean or I will be trading it on the show. I'll probably tell a story about Amazon and the correct trade I had, which was a loss, because when it broke a key level, I had no concept. I'd never traded a $2,000 stock before, well, at least not that one. And I had no concept of what it was going to look like when it broke the level. So I did not judge the slippage. 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, well, that was a $50 winner that I don't have because I did not give it enough room. It's always a learning experience. We're going to watch it for sure. Thank you so much, Adair, for those numbers. What an absolutely ridiculous move. You're actually holding up your 12% with almost no pullback in Broadcom. That chart needs to be seen. A lot of times we will show you these moves to the upside in the aftermarket, and the sellers will come in. The exuberance gets pulled back a little bit. Not really here. It's actually holding some of these highs, which is always impressive. Anytime something holds an all-time high in the aftermarket and there's not a ton of pullback, I think it's fantastic. But the thing that I think is the most fantastic is we get to do something called a roll call at the end of the day. And why it's fantastic is there's always somebody in here that has like maybe the coolest name or just catches me off guard, but I always started in the same place. I started with the best, the number one moderator in all of YouTube, and that is you, Bears versus Bulls. You are by far one of the best friends of the show. We don't necessarily say it enough. I feel like we should thank you on the regular show more often than we do, keeping things civilized in the chat, keeping us abreast of all the super chats and all the messages that we are missing from time to time because it moves so fast. Can't thank you enough. Wish you all the best. Have a fantastic day to you. But let's get on to this. Adair, you're in there. You're informing everybody on the show, and you're typing in there when I'm not even watching you, talking about the split.
I'll just drop like earnings and stuff in there. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, don't apologize.
I don't know. I mean, like, you know, you gotta.
You
type
don't
on the
see
side.
me typing in the chat while I'm talking. I'm over 40. I can't handle that kind of stuff. I can barely trade and talk to you
try to
guys
keep the people
all day
informed,
long.
yeah.
So let's get this roll call started. We got Monty G in the house, Alan Smith in the house, Hurt Scrambler, Timon, John H, Andrew Chow, what up? Michael Lewis, let's go. Alex Davis, we try to keep it real. When I ran for student office in high school, I did pull the whole real deal. You know, it's a get the real deal, vote for Neil. It failed miserably, so I did not win. That's another story. Caputi Electronic Music, that's the tongue twister of the day. Vin, what up? Hoxton, what up? Jason Renfro, Scratch Life, Trenches Trader, Rocky G, Timon again, Juan Alejandro Castillo, Pooh, here since 8:30 in the morning. That's what I love to see. Come right back tomorrow as well. Mr. Westermeyer, loving your virtual trading family. We love our entire Trader TV family here. Michelle Meir, Dewey, The Piper, John Balla, what up? Keith Gill is the simple guy. You know what? I'm just trying to criticize the guy. I just think it's wild. I could never be that kind of a person, in and out of the money that much. Everyone has a different personality. I think it's amazing what he was able to accomplish, and I wish him all the best. He seems like a really good dude, but I could never hold $1 billion, $500 million. I know it's all hard to realize, but it is what it is. Shout out to NYSE, Urbanista, Joe Finero, Michael P, Mr. Future, Fakir Family Life Vlogs, Asta, Vin, Anthony Kerr, Bbot 5000, UVDA, great hip-hop recording artist. Let's go. We like some hip-hop around here, although I prefer my old school. I don't know about this mumble rap. It's not necessarily for me.
Great. Yeah.
But to each their own. Vendetta in the house. I can't say that. What was that? It just disappeared. Parabolic something. I don't even see it anymore. But I was having trouble reading it. But Kerry Weaver, Tron, Zaire, Kefa, sup. What's up to you? Bob Coran, Silverado Blue. Now I'm running out of breath here. Scott Tomlinson, intro cable as well. Whoo, Fat Figure, there you are. Fat Figure, what did I miss? Okay, look, only because Fat Figure, you're here every single morning when I put the chat live or put the stream live. You're one of the first people on there. So I'm going to give you a pass for pretending like you haven't been watching the show. You know what AVGO did, Fat Figure. You know what NVIDIA did. You know what Apple did today. And it was a wild one. It was a heck of a lot more fun. Team PJCT, we need your raps. Yeah, you're kind of right about that. We had the... What kind of ended up happening? I'm going to end the show with this. Thank you guys for the roll call. It used to be we get 1,500 likes in the afternoon show, and I would do like, I would just rap something that I knew.
Yeah.
But now that we have the aftermarket show, it's kind of weird because we would end the show with that. So we're throwing it, and it's like, I don't want to... I do that, and it's like, and then I'm trying to throw it to Sean at the desk. I'll figure a way to make this work again.
But now you're on the market recap.
Oh, yeah,
so
I
you
am
can
doing...
rap.
Oh, that's...
Market recap rap. Re-rap. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't know if you realize this, but I was just trying to weasel my way out of it like a chump. No, that's actually a good idea.
I'm not very good at
So the days that I'm on the recap show, so how about this? The days I'm doing the Friday recap show, we'll get a like number, and then if we hit that like number at the end of roll call, I'll do something.
I like it.
But I have one request. You guys don't know this, but somebody next to me knows her hip hop.
Oh, I do.
And I'm talking about, look, I know she's young, but she knows like old school legit. You know what I'm saying? So she better have something as well.
Oh, I do.
Because
I will.
See what's up? You're not even going to be asking for me. Give it a couple of weeks. You're going to want her to rap every single time. Adara, multi-talented writer. I just found out today that she's done race walking.
Yeah.
Like, what don't you do, first of all? Right? Dance, sing, rap, do the watch list, learn to trade, and now apparently you're a competitive. Ramin, you laugh about the watch list? I had to, no, straight up, I had to do the watch list for the 2 days that you were off. It throws my whole preparation off, man. Like, it takes me twice as long to do it as it takes Adara to do it, or it takes, and I'm using ChatGPT for some stuff that you could probably imagine I would. But yeah, it does take some time to go through it. I thank you so much for doing that on a daily basis. But Adara does have bars, V. Branson Designs. But with all of that, it's been a fun afternoon show. Don't go anywhere. We're only halfway through the week. Post-Fed, post-AVGO blowout, Apple going crazy. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8:30. Wow, what a day, what a day.
Have a great day, guys.